we think so, Bob. We're going to try our best tonight here to get the people and the proper pronunciations of all our friends from the Soviet Union who are here today. Mike Forbes is joining me with the broadcast. Mike, we have noted on this roster for Sokol Kiev kind of a wide range of ages. A lot of different players, some young players. They've got one 16-year-old player, one 17-year-old player, and a couple of guys who are in the 30s. This is really almost a domestic Soviet version of an NHL team.
Well, it very much is, and they've added some of the youngsters because 4 of their better players are playing with one of the teams that's playing exhibition games against the National League clubs right now. So they've had to add some players to the roster, and I watched these youngsters skate this morning, and they are definitely a talented bunch.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this team. They did not have a great finish last season, but twice last year they beat the Red Army team, which is to Soviet hockey what the Montreal Canadiens are to the NHL. So they're very capable. They've got a lot of guys who we expect to see a lot of good skating from, and the pattern of this game should be a little bit different, Mike. Obviously, Muskegon, a more physical team. That's been their style even before tonight. In the last several years, Larry Gordon has built a team that will throw the puck in, go in, chase it in the corners. They've got some big, strong guys up front, and they'll try to force the action. The Soviet team will play a lot differently. Obviously, the European style, they'll create a lot of passing patterns, a lot of people changing positions, defensemen rushing, and they'll try to carry the puck across the blue line rather than dump it in and chase.
Well, that's very true. They play a possession-style game, and very different from the U.S. style, the dump and chase. And they say that we play more of an individualistic style and a one-on-one style, and they play more of a team-style hockey. So we can look forward to a lot of what they call team play.
I'm sure one thing the Lumberjacks will like to do today is, and tonight, is to force the action with a little bit of body contact, and that's not to say that they're going to create anything really difficult for the opposition. But as we take a look at the ceremonial dropping of the first puck by Larry Gordon, we will expect to see some real action by the Lumberjacks in the corners at the blue line to try to stand up these rushing Soviet players. And we expect a very good game here tonight at the LC Walker Arena. We've got a very good crowd on hand. Muskegon played last night, Mike, down in Kalamazoo and got a win. Any worries for B.J. McDonald and Phil Russell that their team might be a little bit tired after what happened last night?
Well, they may be a little bit tired, but we're not going to fall back on any excuses. I was talking to the coaches before the game, and the players are really revved up for this game. They don't get a chance. There's only 2 players in our roster who have had international experience in the past, and they're extremely looking forward to this hockey game tonight.
Well, earlier today on TV 13, a lot of the sports fans in West Michigan watched as Michigan defeated Duke in overtime, thanks to the efforts of Ramil Robinson. And oddly enough, one of the star players for this Sokol Kiev team is Ramil Yeldashev, number 17 tonight. We'll keep an eye on him, and we'll see if he can duplicate the performance of his namesake, Ramil Robinson, in this game tonight against the Muskegon Lumberjacks. Now, Muskegon will have a fewer players available for duty tonight. The Soviet team will start with 8 defensemen, obviously, a couple more than what Muskegon will have on hand. They have also dressed for this game this evening a total of 12 forwards as opposed to about 10 for Muskegon. And both teams with a couple of excellent goaltenders. Bruce Racine, who had a great year last year, Mike, and the backup Chris Clifford. And Vitaly Samoylov, we've heard some good things about him. He is a 27-year-old. He is the lead goalkeeper, and he'll be in goal here tonight for Sokol Kiev. Brad Aiken is out at center ice. He will be on the first shift along with Mitch Wilson. And also out there, Jeff Daniels on the left wing, Pake, and Randy Taylor starting on the defense. The center man is Malkov, Pyotr Malkov for the Sokol Kiev team. And here's a great chance for Muskegon right off the bat. And the save is made on the first shot by Samoylov. And there was an excellent opportunity, Mike, there for the Lumberjacks off the just 10 seconds into the game.
Well, Mitch Wilson and Jeff Daniels coming in 2-on-1 on the Russian defenseman Zinoviev, and Zinoviev with a fine block on the play to break up the 2-on-1 effort.
Dmitry Zinoviev is 24 years old. He's one of the top players on this team. The faceoff comes back out to center ice. Pake unable to hold it in. Getting some pressure now from the Soviet team. Play comes out center ice, and that's a 2-line pass, I believe, against the Lumberjacks. So the faceoff will come back inside the Muskegon zone with 17 seconds gone here in the first period. Sokol Kiev against the Muskegon Lumberjacks here tonight on TV 13.
Well, the Lumberjacks will be looking to get on this Sokol Kiev team in their offensive zone because they, as we had stated earlier, play a control game, and it's important the Lumberjacks have a good forechecking effort offensively.
Malkov won the faceoff, but his team couldn't do much with it. Now it comes back into the Soviet end. Skating back to pick it up there is Timchenko, the defenseman for the Soviet Union. Now comes out center ice. This is Malkov. And it's broken up by Pake, out center ice to Aiken. A collision at center ice. Aiken tries to get it ahead to Wilson. And here's the Soviet goalie out to play the puck behind his own net. Timchenko will play it there for the Soviet team. Sokol Kiev. It comes out center ice now. Good play by the centerman, Malkov. Here's a chance for the Soviets and a goal! It was scored by Ботвинко. Valeri Ботвинко took the crossing pass, and what a great play that time made, I believe, by Malkov, who threw it across there, and Ботвинко didn't have a very good angle, but he went top drawer on that shot, and on their first shot on goal, the Soviet team takes a 1-0 lead.
Well, Peter Malkov took a vicious check from Mitch Wilson in the center ice zone, and he was the one that made that 2-on-1 possible. And the Soviets, of course, known for their offensive play, did an excellent job completing that 2-on-1 opportunity.
On the assist, number 16.
It is Pyotr Malkov and Sиньков assisting on the goal by Ботвинко. 1-0 Sokol Kiev. Here come the Lumberjacks again. The puck is played by Ratsov. And now knocked into the Muskegon zone by Бурханов, Ali Бурханов. It comes back out across the blue line, and then they brought it back in offside. So the faceoff will come back out to the center ice area. 1-0 our score. The first shot, and it was a great shot. It wasn't a goal that you could blame on Racine there, facing a 2-on-1. Really, these guys are sharpshooters, Mike, and you saw that one was so expertly placed by the Soviet goal scorer, Ботвинко.
Well, we were watching them this morning at practice, and they were placing the puck just inside that crossbar, top shelf, as they call it, and there wasn't too many that missed the mark.
Now, Sokol Kiev forcing the action. It comes back out to the blue line. Cıplakov plays it inside. Racine had to be quick on that one, and here come the Lumberjacks. They get it out center ice, but it's picked up right there by Бурханов. And now it's Mike Murch taking over for the Lumberjacks. Murch skates it ahead. Dave Capuano, new to the Lumberjacks this year, brings it into the zone, but he stopped there nicely. And the puck comes back out center ice to Dave Goertz. Goertz to Darren Stolk, who's on right now for the Jacks. And here's Stolk with an opportunity, checked at the blue line, trying to work in. The Soviets take over, and here's a Ratsov. Dmitry Ratsov out center ice. The play broken up by Goertz, and now a big check by Бурханов. It sticks a little high right there, and Goertz is going to take a penalty. Well, they're going to call a penalty on the Soviet team. A little retaliatory blow, I think, there. The official saw the second one. And let's see, is it going to be a penalty on Muskegon?
With full features now sale priced at Langlois stores, only $7.98. Langlois stores, Muskegon.
And we're back at the LC Walker Arena. It is, I believe, Stolk who took the penalty. Or is that Malvina?
I believe it's Malvina, and this will give the Sokol Kiev team a power play opportunity. They've been 1 for 9 in their 2 games thus far, so it should be interesting to see what their power play looks like.
Zinoviev back to play it for Sokol Kiev. He'll lead the rush. Ahead on the left wing it comes to Sиньков. Sинькov over the blue line. Beautiful pass, drop back, and unable to be controlled by 18 Бурханов for the Sokol Kiev team. Here's Zinoviev again. Starts out, left wing pass, ahead it comes. Sиньков avoids a check from Goertz. The Soviet team keeps it in, now comes back out to the blue line, and it's picked up again by Dmitry Zinoviev. He skates back to his own blue line. To Malkov, the first line center. They play it across to Malkov offside. Tough angle, goes right in on Racine, who makes the stop. And now the puck is played out, and the zone is cleared by the Lumberjacks. Minute 10 left in the penalty. Lumberjacks trailing Sokol Kiev here 1-0 in the first period. And now the referee's whistle stops the action.
I believe we'll have 2 many men on the ice penalty here.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm not sure. The Soviet team had a flock of people on the ice down below, and now the official's coming over to talk to the bench, and I think he's trying to explain what had happened. So Sokol Kiev will lose its power play here. They had a minute 6 remaining, and going over to serve the penalty will be Vadim Kulabukov. The bench penalty against Sokol Kiev. Too many men on the ice during that power play, and it was a sloppy change there, Mike. They were trying to get some new people on, and they were caught with about 6 people out in front of their own bench and a couple of others on the ice as well.
Well, the Soviets' misfortune works out to be the Lumberjacks' fortune. We'll play 4-on-4 here for the next minute and 6 seconds, and then the Lumberjacks should enjoy a power play.
This is an interesting situation for the Soviets. With fewer players on the ice, a good skating team should have a bit of an advantage here. We'll see what the Soviets are able to do. Play comes out center ice. Back to play it is Pake. Capuano is on right now, along with Taylor. And also Perry Gancher on for the Lumberjacks as well, and it's Gancher who chases in behind the net. The Soviet goaltender Samoylov plays it away from him, and now the Sokol Kiev team starts out again. Long cross ice pass is broken up nicely by Wilson. It comes back out center ice. Gancher with a hard check. And now here comes Бурханов, and Бурханov has been going at it down there with Randy Taylor. Taylor dumps him. And here comes Muskegon. Pake a drive, and it's just wide. It's going to be played in the corner there by Capuano. And now here comes Sokol Kiev. Back out of Rastov, the defenseman leading the charge. Crosses, plays it off to Бурханов. Burkhanov's drive is broken up by Pake, and Pake takes possession and flips it out to center ice. 8 seconds remaining in the Muskegon penalty. They'll have a power play for about 50 seconds here in just a couple of moments. Eratsov plays it out. Cıplakov just dumps it in. Both teams going for a change right now. And here comes Brad Aiken for the Lumberjacks. That play went in offside. Clearly going in ahead of the play that time was Mitch Wilson on the right wing, Mike.
Well, it was a defensive play there by the Soviet defenseman that made Brad Aiken make a deke right at the blue line, and that threw Mitch Wilson in offside.
Looked like the Lumberjacks had quite a charge going there, but a good play by this veteran team, Sokol Kiev, and it's a very good team. This team has played quite well. Last year, they were awarded a trophy that they give out annually to in the Soviet Union Elite League, Mike, for the team that has the best record against the top 3 teams in the league. Now, Sokol Kiev was not one of the top 3 teams, but they had a winning record against the top 3 teams. So they're very capable and probably something of a streaky team. A shot right on goal taken there by Ovchinnikov, the defenseman, Andrei Ovchinnikov, and a nice save by Racine. Here comes Muskegon on the power play. The pass broken up there by Lubnin. Almost a chance for Wilson back to the blue line stand. Beautiful play to Aiken, a drive and a save by Samoylov. He had to be sharp on that one. Lumberjacks trying to keep the pressure on, and now Sokol Kiev will clear the zone, and a big hit made by Jeff Daniels on the Soviet player Yolushev. 14:45 remaining first period. Sokol Kiev on top 1-0, and now I believe that's a 2-line pass that's going to come back out center ice, or actually it's going to be an icing call against the Lumberjacks, as both teams are now back to full strength here with 14:44 remaining. Any surprises so far for you, Mike, in this one?
Well, not really. It's pretty much typical Russian stuff. The one point to make note of, the Russians so far in their North American trip have shut out every power play that has come against them, gone or for...
Well, here's the great play we saw moments ago from Stanton, who played it right out in front, and Aiken had the scoring opportunity, but could not convert on it as we get back to live action now. And great play made at the blue line there, and they feed it across, the Soviets do. With the puck right now is Alipov, Yevgeny Alipov. He loses his helmet, and here comes Muskegon. And it comes back out center ice. It's played by Timchenko, the defenseman, who just simply knocks it back in to the Muskegon zone. A lot of skating, good hitting by both sides here in the first 6 minutes of this game. And now Mihайлюk, who's on for the Lumberjacks, out there with Dan Frawley. Frawley will play it ahead. It's broken up at the center ice, and here comes a helmetless Alipov for Sokol Kiev. His drive up high, Racine on the save, and now the puck is played all the way down into the Soviet zone. Vitaly Samoylov will play it, the goaltender for Sokol Kiev. And here comes Timchenko out. Nice move to get around Dave Capuano. Then he lost possession, and then coming back to make the play for Sokol Kiev was Alipov. Savitsky brings it into the Muskegon zone. He's ridden off the puck. They play it in behind the net. It's Gancher for Muskegon. Ahead to Scott Gruel. Back out center ice it comes, and here's Sokol Kiev again. Play a little ragged here in the last minute or so. Knocked in that time by Malkov, Pyotr Malkov for Sokol Kiev. Puck still in the Muskegon end. Back out to the blue line, the shot, and it was knocked down there by Taylor. And the Soviets applying the pressure. Sиньков chasing in. It goes in behind Racine. Back there is Lubnin, the defenseman, pinching in. Actually, that's Ботвинко. And Muskegon a little frustrated right now. Now it comes out center ice. And here's an opportunity for the Jacks. 2-on-3. Going in is Gruel. Gruel still with the puck. Played it out in front. And now a chance for the Soviets at 3-on-2. Coming the other way. Sokol Kiev brings it in. It's Sиньков, and the save made by Racine. 12:37 left in the first period. We'll take a break. Sokol Kiev on top, 1-0.
America is warming up to root.
And we're back to the action here at LC Walker Arena. Tom Cleary along with Mike Forbes and Bob Trimble for the game tonight. The exhibition contest between Sokol Kiev of the Soviet Elite League and the Muskegon Lumberjacks of the IHL. Sokol Kiev on top 1-0 on the goal by Valeri Ботвинко early on in the contest. First shot on Bruce Racine of the night. A goal for the Soviet team. Here's Wilson taking some pressure in the corner. Back there to play it now for Muskegon is Paul Stanton. Lumberjacks having some difficulty getting out of their own end. Now a chance as they play it up, and it's broken up by the defenseman. Almost a giveaway to Daniels, knocked back in by Stanton. And now it comes back out to center ice. It's played there by Mike Mersch for the Lumberjacks. Across to Stanton. The Soviet Union team is not backing away from the contact at all, Mike. These guys will hit, and they will skate, and we're going to get an icing here as the puck was played ahead by Kulabukov. Missed his man at center ice, and the faceoff will come back into the Soviet zone with 11:49 remaining here in the first period.
Well, the Soviets really have never been afraid of the physical play. They've kind of got a bad rap in the early and late 70s as being maybe not so physical, but that has changed over the last several years.
Valeri Ботвинко at the 53-second mark. Malkov and Sиньков on the assist. That was the first shot on goal, and they made no mistake of it. And now Sokol Kiev starts out. This is Yoldashev, the 28-year-old veteran who takes it into the zone. It's picked up by Ovchinnikov, and it comes back out center ice now, and it'll be played back there by Timchenko. Timchenko will leave it for Zinoviev. Dmitry Zinoviev plays it ahead, comes across the blue line into the center ice area. Valiunin with a check there on the Muskegon player. That was Darren Stolk who took the hit. And you'd have to say that the Sokol Kiev team has had a clear edge in play here in the first 10 minutes or so of this one. On a play between the blue lines right now. They throw this one back in and they wave off the icing. It's played by Racine. And back to get it for Muskegon is Dave Goertz. Stolk's pass broken up at center ice. Comes back to Goertz. Now a chance for the Soviets. It's shot in there by Edward Valiulin. And back to play it now is Stolk for Muskegon. Here's Dan Frawley now across center ice. Broken up. He takes the hit. Muskegon caught on the change. Here's the drive by Yoldashev. Stopped by Racine. And now it's Frawley back out with Gruel. And also on for the Jacks is Capuano. And a great save there on a high shot. That looked like it might have fooled the Samoylov a little bit. A little pushing and shoving in the corners down there, but nothing too serious. But a good reaction that time by the goaltender.
You see Scott Gruel coming down the wing with that high shot, and as you said, Samoylov getting his glove up, and that shot handicapped Samoylov because it was in on his elbow, and that's a very difficult spot for a goaltender, but he was able to get his glove up and stop the puck and cover up the rebound.
Well, sometimes when you're struggling offensively, you just have to put the puck on the net. There's a drive off the faceoff, and I believe that was Capuano who had the shot there for the Lumberjacks. We're 10 minutes into the first period. Delayed offside right now as the Soviets will play it. Back there to touch it is Rastov. Rastov wheels away from Gruel and plays it across to his defense partner. Now they shoot it back out center ice. It's broken up there by Pake. Pake will just dump it back in. It's played now again by Rastov for Sokol Kiev. Across it comes to Cıplakov. Cıplakov back out center ice. Heavy bump there by Randy Taylor of the Lumberjacks. And now it's played back out in front of the Sokol Kiev bench once again. With it now is Rastov, and he'll simply shoot it in. Soviet team will go for a change. Puck comes back out center ice. It's Rastov again, and we've seen a lot of him in the last couple of moments. Good skating defenseman. Dmitry Rastov, 24-year-old member of the Sokol Kiev team. Oletsky is on right now for Sokol Kiev. Here's Taylor, left wing pass, ahead it comes to Gruel. Gruel's taking off the puck. Good check there by Rastov. And now Sokol Kiev, 4 men up on 3. This is Savitsky who takes the hit. They keep it in the zone. A chance out in front now. A backhander. The drive by Lubnin. Broken up by Racine, and now the Lumberjacks start back. And it was Jeff Daniels who avoided the check but lost possession of the puck. Back there to play it is Lubnin for Sokol Kiev. And now here comes the Soviets again. This is Lubnin. He's got a man open. It is Ботвинко, and Racine had to be quick on that one. Great opportunity for Valeri Ботвинко, who has the only goal of the game. And now here come the Jacks with Mitch Wilson with 8:40 remaining. Across center ice, he's got a man, Aiken, on the right wing. Couldn't find him. And now the puck will be played by Samoilov. A couple of people go down in a pileup. It's kept in at the blue line. The drive is knocked down there. And here comes Yeldashev on the left wing. The pass ahead to Sиньков. There's a chance for Sиньков. Racine played it, lost it, and then covered up. 8:19 remaining here in the first period. 1-0 Sokol Kiev.
Well, a fine opportunity here for the Russians coming in, and Racine was leaning towards his glove side, and they hit him on the pad. So a good thing for Racine down in that butterfly position.
Well, Racine has gotten his legs underneath him a little bit here, Mike, after giving up that first goal, and he was perhaps a little shaky in the early going, but he's played much better. And in fact, we'll probably see both goaltenders tonight. Clifford will probably see some action for Muskegon later on, as Bruce played the game last night against Kalamazoo.
And played very well in Kalamazoo, from what I understand. The Lumberjacks as a whole have had a little trouble in the first 12 minutes of going here, really not getting their legs underneath them and not skating vintage Lumberjack style, but we hope to see that change as the game progresses.
Kulabukov is on, and here's a chance for the Sokol Kiev team. And the save is made by Racine, and now Aiken will start out. And he'll simply flip it down. This one will be played by Samoilov. And back there to take it is Zinovayev for Sokol Kiev. Dmitry Zinovayev behind his own goal. Plays it up on the right wing. The pass jumped over the stick of Kulabukov. And it goes all the way back down to Bruce Racine. Racine whiffed on it, but right there to pick it up is Stolk. Stolk starts it ahead to Frawley. Frawley tipped it ahead to Mihайлюk. Now it comes back to Muskegon's 17, Glenn Mulvina. And Mulvina can't play it, and here is Sokol Kiev again. Big check along the boards by Mulvina, who's chasing in, doing some forechecking, but finally the Soviet team, well, they don't clear the zone. It came back out to Mihайлюk, and now it is still in. And here's Mihайлюk. Mihайлюk goes into the corner. He's taken off the puck. Muskegon still in possession. Mulvina played it across, but unable to get a stick on that one was Dan Frawley. And finally, the Soviets will clear the zone, and here they come on the breakout. It's Бурханов by himself, 1-on-3. Try to get by the defenseman. He's taken down, though, nicely by Dave Goertz. The hitting starting to pick up here. The Soviets have not backed away at all, Mike.
No, and I don't think you'll see that they will. They're used to this physical play over the course of the season in the USSR, and as I stated earlier, they have picked that up over the last several years and play more of a North American style.
Here comes Muskegon. Frawley with the puck center ice. Left wing pass to Gruel. It hit the official there. Took kind of a funny bounce. And now Valiunin starting back out for the Sokol Kiev team. Yeldashev lost the puck. And now this one will be played back in by Цыплаков, but he lost it. And finally comes back out to Ovchinnikov for Sokol Kiev. Knocked ahead by Scott Gruel, who lost his stick. He goes down. Muskegon trying to force a face-off here, and it looks as though they're going to get one. Face-off in the Sokol Kiev zone. 6:17 remaining in the first period. 1-0 in favor of the visitors from the Soviet Elite League. Sokol Kiev dressed in the red, white, and blue tonight. Lumberjacks wearing the home white, black numerals with the gold trim. Sokol Kiev has carried the play. They've had most of the good offensive chances here in the first period. This puck comes back out center ice. And they wave off. Well, no, they're not going to wave off the icing. This will be icing against Sokol Kiev. I thought maybe the Muskegon player had a chance to play that one, but they say no, so another face-off will come back down in front of Vitaly Samoilov, one of two goaltenders playing for the visiting Soviet squad, 27 years old. The other goalie is a veteran, Yuri Shundrov. We're not sure if we'll see him here, but there are some very young players here on this team. Alexander Kuzminski, who we talked about, is only 17. And Valentin Oletsky, who we've seen out here on the ice, Mike, 18-year-old, who's had a couple of good shifts for the visitors. Chance right now as the puck is played in. The opportunity for Ботвинко, the goal scorer. Now it comes back out to the blue line. A high drive went just wide off the stick of Savitsky. Savitsky forces in. And now the puck is picked up by Muskegon's Perry Gancher. Comes back out center ice. Lubnin, Sergei Lubnin, loses possession. And Jitnik for the Soviet team. Lubnin just tips it in, and here comes Stanton. Ahead for Gruel, he took a hit. Daniels now I should say Gancher on the drive for Muskegon. That was wide of the net. Lumberjacks still with the puck. Gruel will play it back to Gancher. He lost possession. Gruel's got it again. He's on the backhand side. He flipped this one. He went behind the net, changed directions. Pake is pinching in for the Lumberjacks. And now coming out to play the puck is Oletsky, the young player for the Sokol Kiev team. Nice lead pass ahead. Jumped over the stick of Alipov. And Racine will play it for the Jacks with just under 5 minutes remaining here in the first period. Now Gruel's got his arm around somebody over there, and he's got a stick tied up. They're trying to get a face-off. Somebody went down heavily there. That was Alipov for Sokol Kiev, but the Soviets keep it in. Nice pass, but it jumped over the stick there that time of the Sokol Kiev player, and Alipov put it right on the stick of Malkov. And this one comes down. It'll be played by the goaltender, and then Zinoviev, Dmitry Zinoviev for Sokol Kiev. Here comes Sokol Kiev on the rush. They lose it. Ботвинко had it. Aiken fires it in behind the Soviet goal. Zinoviev again. Plays it out toward the blue line. The save on the long shot from the blue line by Goertz. Now a shot to score! And the Lumberjacks have tied the game up with a goal by Mitch Wilson. That play actually started back out by the blue line, Mike. It was a shot by Goertz that got right in. The Soviet goaltender Samoilov made the save, but it came to Wilson, who wheeled and fired and put it by him for the first goal of the night for the Lumberjacks.
As we can see on the replay here, it's kept in by Dave Goertz, and Mitch Wilson picks up the rebound. Now watch, he's got number 21 here moving in, Daniels. Wilson uses him as a screen and slips the puck on net for the Lumberjacks' first goal of the evening, and a good offensive effort by the Lumberjacks, who haven't had a lot going for them offensively in the first few minutes of this period.
Well, he was pretty well covered that time by Zinoviev, the defenseman, as well. Wilson gets the goal for Muskegon. Here's a chance for Sokol Kiev now. After the face-off, 4 minutes remaining here in the first period. 1-1 tie, Sokol Kiev and the Lumberjacks here on TV 13. Tonight's broadcast coming to you from the LC Walker Arena in Muskegon. Sokol Kiev digging in. Here's an opportunity now. And drive, another chance for the Soviet player. And that one was blocked again by Racine. They keep it in at the blue line, though. It's a Rantsov, a drive, and a goal. And that one may have been tipped in by the mystery man, Mike, that you and I have been talking about. We've got 20 players listed on our roster. We have number 27 there scoring the goal, so we'll have to listen for the name because we've got Ботвинко 28 and no 27 listed, so it's a late addition. The goal scorer, I believe, for Sokol Kiev.
Well, he just got the puck off to the side of the net and tipped it by Bruce Racine, but he had just beforehand had taken quite a check by Mitch Wilson right out in the slot and was standing beside the net unattended to knock in that deflection.
Well, I'm not sure. We didn't hear the goal, but Burkanov got the assist. Nainov, the goal scorer for the Sokol Kiev team. 2-1 with 3:20 remaining here in the first period. Here comes Sokol Kiev again. Hit the skate of Ovchinnikov, and here come the Lumberjacks. It's played right in on Samoilov. Back to play it there is Lubnin, Sergei Lubnin. Nice pass ahead, and good defensive play made there by Stanton, making the check on Ovchinnikov. Now it's Zhitnik. Alexei Zhitnik plays the puck ahead, gets it back. It comes out center ice now, and with it for the Soviet team is Lubnin. They take it into the Muskegon zone. They play it right out in front. Here's an opportunity. Oh, beautiful backhanded play, and Racine stayed right with it as Ovchinnikov had an opportunity there. Still pressure from Sokol Kiev, and the Lumberjacks will finally clear the zone. 3 men coming out this time. Mihайлюk is on there right now with Frawley and Mulvina. Haven't really seen too much of Mihайлюk so far here tonight, Mike.
Well, he gets plenty of ice time rather during the course of the regular season, and I would imagine that the coaching staff would want to give him a little bit of a break here tonight against the Russians.
I think this is only the third shift for Dave in the first period, and obviously, as one of the leading scorers in the franchise history here at Muskegon, you'd expect him under normal conditions to be in here a little bit more than that. Sokol Kiev looking for the breakout now here. They like to add to this 1-goal lead with just under 2 minutes remaining. Back to play it is Zinoviev, the defenseman. Plays it up along the boards. It's tipped out center ice, and here's an opportunity for Oletsky going down with Savitsky. Plays it across, and Racine there just got in the way of that one. Here come the Jacks on the move. Capuano, Gancher Gruel going in. Gruel got tied up right in front, and the pass goes across, and it's played by Alipov. And here comes Sokol Kiev again. This is Aletsky at the blue line, and that play goes in offside as Savitsky was forced. Minute 27 remaining in the first period. Tom Cleary along with Mike Forbes and Bob Trimble, who will have some between-period guests here at the LC Walker Arena. One of the people that Bob will be talking to, I think after the first period is over, is Anatoly Bogdanov, the coach of Sokol Kiev. A little bit later on in the broadcast, he'll be talking with Blair McDonald of the Muskegon Lumberjacks. 2-1 our score, Sokol Kiev on top. Here come the Lumberjacks. Long cross-ice pass intended for Gruel off his stick, and back to play it is Aratsov, for actually Cıplakov for Sokol Kiev. And he just dumps it down into the Muskegon zone. Racine touches it off to Mike Mersch. Gruel is checked at center ice. Sokol Kiev, here's an opportunity again. This is Valiul in the try drive. That one over the top of the net and picked up now by Paul Stanton for the Lumberjacks with 50 seconds remaining here in period number 1. With it now is Mersch. Ahead it comes. Capuano chasing in after this one with Aratsov. He's played off the puck. Gruel is there behind the net. He tried to get it back out in front. Gruel with the puck. And the drive. And the puck is tied up. And the officials stepping in now on Dave Capuano, who was shoving with the Soviet player. And I know one thing that the Muskegon franchise is eager to do here tonight is to avoid any sort of international incident, Mike. But hockey players are hockey players, be they of Soviet descent or American or Canadian born. They've given that second goal now to Naida, who we had originally listed as number 30 in our program, but he's wearing jersey number 27 tonight. And I guess that makes sense, Mike, because 30 is a number that would normally be reserved for a goaltender, but then again you've got two goaltenders wearing numbers in the 20s here for the Sokol Kiev team. I was going to say at least in North America, but that isn't the norm in Europe, I'm afraid. Chasing in after this one is Jeff Daniels behind the net. He loses the puck. Aiken slashes at it. He chops it back in. He hit the referee there. The drive from the blue line by Goertz hit Бурханов. And here comes Sokol Kiev. Time for one last rush here with 10 seconds remaining in the period. They play it ahead. He got caught in the skate of Goertz. Chasing it after it is Бурханов. Dangerous opportunity. And Racine will cover up with 3 seconds remaining in the first period. His sticks come up high once again. But nothing really developing there. And we'll see if the Soviets have any sort of special play for this particular occasion if they send their top face-off man off. We saw Muskegon nearly score off a face-off early in this game. And let's see if Sokol Kiev tries to do something similar here. We see the man out to take the face-off is Anatoly Naida, the 24-year-old goal scorer. That's Бурханов. They put in the slot. He was shooting this morning, and he's got quite a wrist shot. Lets it go very quickly. We'll see if he gets an opportunity to display that off this face-off. Zitnik back at the blue line. No clear win off the face-off, and there goes the horn to end the first period. And now Mitch Wilson mixes it up a little bit with Pyotr Malkov. And the first period will end on that note. So Muskegon a little bit frustrated by a lack of scoring opportunities, if not for the good play by Mitch Wilson. After that first Soviet goal, the Lumberjacks might find themselves down a couple here.
Welcome back to Muskegon's LC Walker Arena. I'm TV13 Sports Director Bob Trimble. Sokol Kiev, leading the Muskegon Lumberjacks after one period of play by a score of 2-1. Very pleased to have a couple of guests with us. First of all, to my left is the head coach of Sokol Kiev, and that's Mr. Anatoly Bogdanov. And joining us also to his left is the professor of Russian at Grand Valley State University, and that is Kristine Riedel. And Coach, first of all, for you, how have you enjoyed your visit so far to the United States?
Мне очень нравится и города, которые мы видели, людей. И нравится хоккей, который мы играем.
He likes the cities, the people that he saw, and he really likes the hockey too that they played.
That's good. The West Michigan has been looking forward to your team coming. Have your players been looking forward to the tour?
Мы все ожидали, что вы приезжаете, но ваша команда тоже ожидает приезда.
Ну, мы во многие города приехали впервые, это маленькие города. Ну, в общем-то, мы ожидали и везде встречаем то, что ожидаем. Такой теплый, хороший прием.
He said they were looking forward to it, and then they're also seeing everything that they expected. They're getting very warm reception everywhere, and they like what they're the receptions and they like the cities.
There was such a dramatic difference. The first game you won 10-1. The second game here, a no score. Now we've got some goals here. Did you expect that kind of discrepancy?
Ну, я думаю, что, может быть, потому что в первой игре забили много, во второй не получилось ни одной шайбы не забить.
So in the first one, of course, they really did a good job. In the second one, they didn't. Но вы ожидали, что будет такая разница между играми?
Ну, просто мы в первой игре многие моменты, которые имели, все ситуации реализовали, а во второй игре не получилось. Но игра, тем не менее, была хорошая, первая и вторая.
In both of the games, it was really good plays, but in the first, they basically had a lot of good situations, which they took advantage of, and in the second one, there weren't so many.
Obviously, you are aware that the Lumberjacks were the defending champions of their league, and you play in a very tough Soviet elite league. Do you think the two teams tonight are comparable on the ice?
Ну, как идет соперничество, да. Ну, я думаю, что идет игра очень равных команд. Каждый из них старается сыграть лучше в свой хоккей. То есть наша команда сыграть быстрый пас, большие скорости. Команда Ламберджэкс старается сыграть более жестко. Ну, пока мы выигрываем.
He says that basically it's a well-matched team, and he said each of the players is trying to play the best to his ability of their type of hockey. And he says that the Soviet team is concentrating more on passing and on speed, where there's a more strong team.
I noticed before the game that your players were going through quite a bit of routine of warm-ups and things like that. I don't see the Lumberjacks doing as much. Is that something that is done before each game together as a team?
Такое приготовление
К игре, да.
It's typical.
Okay, 1980, which is a year very big in the United States when our Olympic team won the gold medal. The first time that had happened in so long, it was a great time for us. That's something we continue to talk about here almost 10 years later. For the Soviets, it was certainly a downtime. Did you consider that maybe a fluke or something that showed the direction of the United States getting better?
Понимаете?
Ну, Паралимпийские игры.
Да, и что мы выиграли, и это сезоны тогда для вас не были такие хорошие.
Да.
Но и он говорит, что мы теперь еще говорим много об
Вот Олимпиаде, да.
Но вы думаете, что это было так-то неожиданно, что мы выиграли в тот раз?
Ну, в общем-то, да, было неожиданно, но я думаю, что в той игре американская команда проявила все, что она могла сыграть, и была удача на ее стороне.
He said it was an unexpected win, but nevertheless they played well, and it was very successful, and that was good.
Did it change anything at all in the way that you guys prepared for games at all? Do you think your country?
Как-то что-то переменилось, как вы приготовились играть с нами, что
Именно наша команда?
Да.
Ну, ничего особенного, в общем-то.
No, nothing particularly.
Is in the United States, or specifically Canada, where most of our NHL players come from, they start playing when they're 2 and 3 years old. Is it the same in the Soviet Union? Do they start very young?
Ну, у нас с 6-7 лет начинают, несколько позже.
From 6 or 7, and sometimes a little later.
Are the players in the Soviet Union aware of the talent in the National Hockey League? Mario Lemieux's, Wayne Gretzky's. Do they hear of and maybe see any of the games?
Они не смотрят игры,
конечно,
смотрят, they see them, но они знают.
Да, знают, что есть такие хоккеисты, да, что, конечно, они хорошо играют, что это звезды хоккея.
That they're well known, that they play well.
Back to your team, the last couple of years, I think 7 or 8 players have gone to Western Europe. You've lost some players, so is this basically rebuilding time for your program?
Несколько игроков эмигрировали в Западную Европу, и теперь может быть новая основа.
Ну, они не эмигрировали, они просто поехали играть на время. Так же, как и в НХЛ тоже.
А теперь это поэтому ваша команда не такая сильная, как раньше было, или?
Нет. У нас, в общем-то, давно игроки в Европу уже более 10 лет игроки выезжают, играют.
Since they left about 10 years ago, there's not really that much of a difference, and it's.
Так что ничего страшного, это нормально.
It's normal.
Приходят другие молодые игроки.
He said they go, and other young ones come, and there's nothing to be afraid of.
Just like Muskegon, there some of the players go up to the parent Pittsburgh Penguins, and they don't. We want to thank you very much for stopping by, and we hope very much that you have a successful tour of the rest of your trip and a safe trip back. Thank you.
We're back once again at the LC Walker Arena in the first intermission. Tom Cleary along with Mike Forbes and Bob Trimble. Sokol Kiev on top of the Lumberjacks here tonight by the score of 2-1. And we'll take a look at the scoring in that first period. The first goal of the night comes only about 55 seconds in. A great pass across here, Mike, to Ботвинко. And look how he goes up under the crossbar there, just inside the goalpost from Malkov and Sиньков. 1-0 in favor of Sokol Kiev.
Well, Ботвинко wasted no time, didn't even stop the puck and let rip with a half snap, half wrist shot, and as you said, put it up top shelf. Could have fit that one inside a shoebox.
Well, that was an Iserman-like goal for the Soviet team. The second goal came from Mitch Wilson. Now, the shot came in from the blue line. Wilson defeated the check of the defenseman Zinovьев, spun. He had a man there open, moving into the slot area. That was Daniels, but Wilson, assisted by Aiken and Goertz, tied it at 1-1. And then finally, the last goal of the first period comes from Anatoly Naida, the 24-year-old forward for the Soviet team. And this one in traffic, I think in general their defense played very well. And it's one thing about these Soviet defense people, they don't get rattled when somebody comes at them. And that's probably the key to success in terms of offensive hockey, is having defense people who can clear the zone and can get the forwards on their way toward the other end.
Well, very much so. And another thing they do very well is control the puck. And they definitely play a control-style game. They don't turn the puck over very often. You'll notice the Lumberjacks at times will just clear the puck into the neutral ice zone, is something you won't see the Soviets do at all during the course of the hockey game.
No, they don't like to give up possession at all. It was a well-played and a relatively clean first period. Only 2 penalties, a bench penalty against Sokol Kiev for too many men on the ice, and Glenn Malvina picked up a penalty early on for the Lumberjacks. So we're getting set to start the second period of action. Brad Aiken is out right now with Daniels on the left wing and Wilson on the right side. And it's the first line center, Malkov, back on right now, along with Sиньков for the Sokol Kiev team. And also on the left side over there is the goal scorer, Ботвинко. Here's the Soviet defense again, and this is Zinovьев back across to his defense partner, who loses possession of the puck. That was Timchenko, and here comes Sokol Kiev on the move once again. Zinovьев will carry it into zone. It's broken up by Pake. 2 Lumberjacks now. Aiken on the left wing, and 2-on-1. Aiken tried to play it across, and he scores! How did that happen? I thought the defenseman played it perfectly, and the goaltender, Samoylov, looking really downhearted there. That was, it has to be characterized a very soft goal to let in for the Soviets.
Well, you would think so. You see Aiken holds onto this puck and slides it through, and it looked like Mitch Wilson hit the leg of the goaltender Samoylov. He couldn't close the 5-hole, and that puck slid on through. The Lumberjacks tied 2-2.
I'd like to get another look at that one, Mike. Did it go through his legs, or did it actually get in on the short side between the right pad and the goalpost?
Well, getting that second look at it, it looked like it did slip through the 5-hole, but it may have come in on the short side. Hopefully we'll get a replay on it later, and we can have closer scrutiny.
Well, I thought the defenseman had played Aiken very well, but Muskegon gets the goal, and they've tied it now at 2-2 as Mike Mersch goes back to play it for the Lumberjacks. He plays it in. A collision at the blue line. Gruhl and Cıplakov, and Cıplakov got a stick up in his face. Gruhl going over there trying to communicate that it was an unintentional shot that he took, but Cıplakov may have been bloodied a little bit. I think he's going to come off right now as Anatoly Bogdanov trying to determine whether or not his defenseman can continue, and the answer at this point is going to be no. So Lubnin will come on, Sergei Lubnin, replacing Cıplakov, who got tangled up with Gruhl, and now the faceoff comes all the way back down into the Muskegon end in this 2-2 game. Going back to play it now is Mersch for the Lumberjacks. And here's a chance for Sokol Kiev. It's knocked away there by Wilson. Held in, though, by Sergei Lubnin, who's bumping with Stanton out to the side of Bruce Racine. And now Perry Gancher for the Lumberjacks plays it ahead to Gruhl. Gruhl has checked off the puck and just plays it down into the Soviet end. Back to get it is Arastov, the defenseman. One of the goal scorers is back out there now, Naida for Sokol Kiev. And here's Naida with the puck. Going in, 2-on-3, beautiful pass, dropped it off nicely, and upended on the play was Malkov. And here come the Lumberjacks as play comes back out center ice. And it's knocked back in by Darren Stoll. Samoylov, who let in a relatively easy goal there, back to play it now for his team. And here comes Sokol Kiev again. And here's Malkov with Yeldashev. Racine will play this one as the Soviet team shoots it in. Cross ice pass here, too far for Malvina. This one's going to be right on goal to Samoylov, and he'll cover up. About a minute 50 gone here in the second period, and on the goal by Brad Aiken, the Lumberjacks have tied it like Forbes at 2.
Well, the Lumberjacks look like they picked it up a little bit in the second period. They're pressing a little bit more in the offensive zone, and that's vintage stuff for the Lumberjacks. They've had all their success over the past 5 years here in the LC Walker, putting constant force and constant pressure on in the offensive zone, and we look for them to do that if they hope to have any success tonight against Sokol Kiev.
Now here's Mihайлюк, who is taken down off the face-off. A couple of players battling for it back there now. Timchenko comes away with it. And here comes Sokol Kiev. And this is Yeldashev, who plays it across, right wing pass to Ovchinnikov. Pass knocked down in front off the stick. It was that time of Valiol. And here comes the Lumberjacks. Mihайлюк got it stuck in his skates. Thought it might be offside. Mulvina played it in. Puck goes in behind Samoilov. Mulvina doing some good work back there with Mihайлюк right now. Mihайлюk finally loses it. And Sokol Kiev will, well, they won't clear the zone, but now finally picked up by Timchenko. Timchenko plays it across to Yeldashev. Yeldashev out center ice, couldn't control it. Mihайлюk bumped off the puck. 3 players for Kiev now, and that goes in offside. Just ahead of the play is Yeldashev on the left wing.
A nice play by the Lumberjack defense to force that offside, but as you can see, the Lumberjacks really picking up the tempo there and having some good opportunities in and around that Soviet net.
One thing that's certainly evident to me in this game, Mike, is the fact that the Lumberjacks are going to benefit from this game in that they don't see a lot of this style of play in the IHL, and certainly they don't see too many teams that are going to challenge them so many times down the ice the way this team is. This team is a threat every time they come to the blue line.
Well, absolutely, and we see a little bit of this style of play in the National Hockey League with teams like Edmonton, but as you said, in the minors, really, it's non-existent, and it's something that it'll be a learning experience for everyone involved in the Lumberjack roster.
Well, Larry Gordon has built this team to the specifications of the rink. It's a smaller playing surface, and you don't want to get a lot of great skaters necessarily in an arena like this because they're not going to have room to operate. So you get people that can muck and battle in the corners, but Sokol Kiev has got some skaters, and I don't think the Lumberjacks have seen this kind of speed too many times in the past, as exhibited on that burst by Alipov. And finally now it's cleared by Wilson across to Pake. And here's an opportunity as Pake comes up to join the play ahead of the left wing to Daniels. He'll chase it into the corner. Zinoviev goes in with him and bumps him heavily off the puck. Nice check by the Soviet defenseman. And a chance now for Sokol Kiev. 3 players starting out. It comes across. Both teams looking as though they want to go for a change. Opportunity now here for Alipov. And it comes right down and Racine will cover it up as Valentin Aletsky was right on the doorstep there. And now both teams will change here with 16-17 remaining here in the second period of this 2-2 game.
A pretty nice defensive play there by Paul Stanton, a 2-on-1 opportunity for the Soviets. Stanton with a nice little poke check to break it up, but the Soviets, as we have said, they can strike at any time, and we've got a scoring summary from the second goal, second goal for the Lumberjacks. Brad Aiken is assisted by defenseman Jimmy Pink.
Talking about Paul Stanton, he's a newcomer to this team this year. The Lumberjacks happy with his progress so far, Mike?
Oh, this kid has really developed very, very well. He's an All-American from the University of Wisconsin. He's just starting to come into his own, and we can look for big things for him, I think, in the next couple of years, possibly see him in Pittsburgh next season or sometime during this season.
A lot of people expect him to be a National Hockey League player, an outstanding collegiate player here in the States. 15:50 remaining here in period number 2. Play comes back out center ice, and it's a Ratsov back to play. Dmitry Ratsov for Sokol Kiev. The puck off the stick that time of Sиньков, and now going back to play is Scott Gruel for the Lumberjacks. Gruel will send it back to Mike Mersch. It comes back out center ice. Gancher had it momentarily. Gancher gets an opportunity here. Played it to Gruel. He's got a man in the slot, and not able to get the shot off that time was Capuano. Back once again at the LC Walker Arena. The face-off just outside of the blue line. Mulvina will go in to take it against Naida for Sokol Kiev. 2-2 is our score. I'm Tom Clary along with Mike Forbes and Bob Trimble here at the LC Walker Arena tonight for this game, an exhibition contest between Sokol Kiev of the Soviet Elite League and the Lumberjacks of the International Hockey League. Back to play it now is Lubnin, Sergei Lubnin. Sokol Kiev not able to clear the zone. It is Zhitnik for Sokol Kiev. Loses it, and the pass comes right across the slot there, just past Mulvina. Now Mihайлюк plays it back in behind Mulvina, and now Sokol Kiev will start back out. Playing the puck is Zhitnik for Sokol Kiev. And here come the Soviets again. This is Kulabukov. Skated off the puck nicely that time by Stolk. Mihайлюk chasing in after the play. Here's an opportunity. A backhander, and it's by Racine, and it went wide. And it was Malkov who had the scoring opportunity that time. Beat Racine, but it did not put the puck on the net. Racine was screened on the play and couldn't get back that way. Another opportunity now for the Soviets. The puck knocked down by the defense. Still, though, with it, the Soviets, a shot from the point, deflected right on, and now Racine will cover up the shot from the blue line, and taken that time by the Soviet player Žitnik. And Racine, kind of a knuckleball played onto him that time, Mike Forbes.
It was deflected out in the slot area, I believe, by number 21. That would be Kulabukov, and Racine very wisely holding on to that rebound. The Soviets applying quite a bit of pressure over that last minute and a half.
Well, that's a good play. I see more and more these days in hockey. Instead of the guy trying to wind up and hit a big slap shot from the blue line, just to play the puck in and let somebody get a stick on it and try for the redirection. And that seems to be something that the Soviets are aware of as well. It can be an effective play.
That's one thing, they don't miss too many tactics as far as hockey's concerned. They're right on top of just about every style of play that you can imagine.
Well, the Lumberjacks doing a lot of chasing, but Sokol Kiev doing a lot of possessing at the moment. A drive, and it was Ovchinnikov who just missed on the far side. Racine will have to cover up again. Lumberjacks trying to take the body a lot now, which is good. But the fact of the matter is, for the last 40 seconds or so, that puck was down in their end, and I'm sure Blair McDonald's not very happy about that, Mike.
Well, you'll see the Soviets quite often, they won't get hit unless they want to. They'll take a check to pass the puck to somebody in a better position, and that was the case there. The Lumberjacks would take one player out, they just pass it to another. We see the pass in the slot to Ovchinnikov, and an excellent save again by Bruce Racine.
Here's Yeldashev trying to get possession, does now. Yeldashev goes into the corner. Still in possession. This one comes back along to the blue line. Back onto the stick of Timchenko. And Muskegon having a lot of difficulty out there right now. The Soviets with a good opportunity. Valiulin back to the blue line. The drive and a save. That one headed for the top corner. Racine had to be quick on that shot. It was taken by Zinovьев, the defenseman. And the fans here are cheering. But I think that from the Muskegon side, you have to say that they're going to have to get some offense going here pretty soon. At least get the puck out of their own end, which it hasn't really been out of for the last minute and a half, Mike.
Well, Bruce Racine making 3 fine saves, and as we've seen with Bruce over the course of this season and last year, he'll come up large when you need him, and he'll make some big saves for you until you get yourself back into a hockey game.
Well, the Lumberjacks with Gancher finally clear the zone. Gruel ahead to Gancher, 2-on-3, and broken up nicely on the defense. Savitsky now for Sokol Kiev. He's got a man ahead of him if he can find him. Oh, he did, but his teammate Alipov was trying to cut back inside the Muskegon player, and that play goes in offsides. And with 13:01 remaining, the faceoff will come back out over the blue line. It's almost a second nature with these guys to look ahead. You're not thinking that there might be a breakout. They just know there's going to be a breakout. There's somebody who's going to be moving ahead, and you'll see a lot of passes from just over the blue line to just inside the other blue line, Mike.
Absolutely, and they work on those types of plays in practice. Watching them this morning, they do all kind of turning and back passes, reverse passes, and they work on these neutral ice zone plays, and it's important for the Lumberjacks to really pick them up in that area of the ice.
A couple of moments ago, it was Yevgeny Alipov who had a great scoring chance, got pulled down, thought there might be a penalty there. But the official says no, and a big hit at the blue line put on Gancher. And the man they got back to make that hit was the veteran defenseman Ratsov. And now Sokol Kiev plays it in. Racine will knock it down and leave it for Mike Mersch. Lumberjacks having some difficulty getting started defensively. That shot taken by Alipov wide of the net. And the Lumberjacks started back out again. Back out, knocked down by Gruel. And back to play it is Cıplakov for Sokol Kiev. Across to Rastov. Back up center ice. The Lumberjacks going for a player change, as does Sokol Kiev. And now it comes back out to the blue line. Knocked back across that time by Sиньков, who assisted on the first goal. Just under 12 minutes remaining. 2-2 tie here at the LC Walker Arena. Sokol Kiev and the Muskegon Lumberjacks. Dangerous play that time. Jacks got a little sloppy with the puck in their own end, and Sинькov almost made him pay. Here's Sинькov again. Another opportunity, a drive! And Racine will cover up now. And we're starting to see this team really apply the pressure offensively. And this is really what Soviet hockey has always been all about, Mike. They're a team, their system always calls for a lot of passing, a lot of movement, And it's like a swarm of bees out there right now in front of Bruce Racine.
Well, it definitely is. The Lumberjacks really not controlling the puck too well in their own zone. They've got to settle down a little bit and set up behind that net, bring all 5 players back into the defensive zone, and I think they'll have a little more success. The Soviets taking advantage of the Lumberjacks' confusion.
Ботвинко had a great scoring opportunity that time as the Lumberjacks finally break out. Samoylov will play the puck across nicely. Comes back out to Žitnik. Lumberjacks with an opportunity out to the blue line and drive. Stoke, a chance for Mihайлюк, and he shot it just wide. Oh, and Mihайлюк doesn't misfire too often from that range. Mihайлюk again loses it off his stick, and here comes Sokol Kiev. Back out is Sиньков. Sиньков the drive. A pad save by Bruce Racine. Stoke will play it ahead, held in at the blue line, then brought back in offside. Exactly 11 minutes remaining here now in period number 2. And look at this opportunity for Mihайлюk. What happened here? He shot it, and the goaltender got the leg out. He got a piece of that one, Mike.
Samoylov got a piece of it, and I know Dave Mihайлюk could call him Boris. Boris would love to have that one back because, as you said, Tom, he doesn't misfire from the slot that often. 100 points, 5 straight seasons. The only guy in professional hockey other than Gretzky and Lemieux to score 100 points or better in the last 5 straight years.
Here's Aiken on to take the face-off for the Lumberjacks with 10:58 now remaining. Pake whiffed on it, and here's a chance for Sokol Kiev. The drive high. They're going to give Clifford a brief warm-up period. He's taking a couple of shots right now. I thought Racine actually played quite well, and he was certainly under duress after what had to be a tough game for him last night with Kalamazoo.
He played very, very well, and if not for some fine saves, we could have a 5-2 hockey game right now. Chris Clifford, who's been playing well for the Lumberjacks, hasn't seen quite as much duty as Bruce Racine over the course of the season, but he'll definitely have his work cut out for him in the next 30 minutes.
Well, Bruce Racine has had pretty much a good year and a half now for the Lumberjacks, and we've seen so many goaltenders in the past from this team go up to Pittsburgh. Peter Angelo has been up a couple of times. What does the parent organization think of Bruce Racine, Mike?
Well, Bruce Racine, they're very impressed with him. They just can't find a place to put him in Pittsburgh right now. At one time, over the course of the season, he went 29-0 here in the LC Walker.
And there's a special visitor, Mr. Claus, on hand tonight to check out the action.
I believe Mrs. Claus was right alongside.
You bet. Possibly Bruce Racine will get a chance now with Craig Patrick taking over that Pittsburgh organization. That certainly the change of leadership there can't hurt his cause at all. There'll probably be a few more changes made as the Pittsburgh Penguins have been off to kind of a slow start this season.
I would think as the season goes along and Craig Patrick gets an opportunity to look at what he's got in Pittsburgh, there'll be several changes made in the next couple of weeks.
Aiken misfired from the blue line, and here comes Sokol Kiev trying to start back out again. They finally clear it across the blue line. Here comes Kulabukov, and he's knocked out the puck. A huge collision there. That was precipitated by the Muskegon player, Mike Merce, falling down, and then a couple of Soviet players just toppled over the top of him. And now one of the Soviet players loses his helmet, and I believe that's Zinoviev over there, the defenseman who got banged a little bit by Capuano, who's been active here tonight. We're about midway through tonight's game at the LC Walker Arena. 9:48 left in the second period. It's 2-2. Tom Cleary along with Mike Forbes, and Bob Trimble is standing by. He's got more interesting things coming up for us during the second intermission. Bob earlier tonight talked to Anatoly Bogdanov, the Soviet coach of Sokol Kiev, and also with Blair McDonald. And Bob will have more interviews in the next intermission. Here's Scott Gruel across the blue line, on with Capuano and Gancher right now. Jacks haven't had very many good scoring opportunities this period, but they do have the only goal. It came off the stick of Brad Aiken early on. Long cross-ice pass for Yeldyshev. He starts out to Ciplikov, and it comes back onto the stick of Capuano, who lost it. And now ahead it comes again to Ovchinnikov. He loses it. Clifford plays it back in behind goal. Soviet team pinching in. Now it comes back out center ice, and it's taken there by Aratsov. Aratsov has been very good here tonight defensively, Mike, for the Soviet team.
Well, he's played extremely well, and he's showing his international experience with his composure on the blue line for the Soviets tonight.
Oh, great bit of work that time as Sokol Kiev had a scoring opportunity, and pinching in that time was Ovchinnikov, who tried to play it back out front, and it came back out center ice. Here's an opportunity for Valiulin. Edward Valiulin threw it back to an open wing. It's held in there by Ciplikov, and now finally thrown out to center ice by Scott Gruel. Aratsov plays it. It bounces over the stick of the Lumberjack player Gancher. Here's a chance for Valiulin, right in on Clifford. He got tugged down from behind, and really more lost his footing than anything else. And not a penalty situation at all, but Valiulen made a nice move to get into the open there, Mike.
Well, Valiulen would like to have that one back. He was in all alone, a 2-on-1 situation. And as you can see here on the replay, a big move on Mike Murphy. Comes around and just falls down. And really the shot didn't get through with any type of velocity to Chris Clifford. And I would imagine being the first shot on net for Chris Clifford, he was mighty happy that that was the case.
It's always nice to get an easy one when you touch it for the first time, really, under fire. Here's the face-off in the Lumberjack zone. They hold it in. It does the defenseman Lubnin, and now it comes back out center ice, and Lubnin has it again. Sergei Lubnin. Here comes Sokol Kiev again. This is Alipov. Yevgeny Alipov plays it right out in front. An opportunity, a backhanded shot. Clifford juggles it and finally covers up. And the man that time with a scoring opportunity was Lubnin, the defenseman. And we've said that so many times here tonight, Mike. It's not always the big scoring forward that's getting in there. It's the defenseman who's overlapping on the play who's getting the opportunity.
Well, they attack with 5 people, as you see in American hockey or Canadian-style hockey. We attack with 3 and sometimes with a 4th defenseman. The Russians come at you, as you can see there, with Lubnin getting a good opportunity in front of the net. They come in waves of 5.
One thing they do exceedingly well too, Mike, is that almost instinctively a forward drops back when a defenseman leads the charge. Very seldom are they caught with just one man back defensively.
Well, even if they are, they skate so darn well. Chances are they'll have caught you by the time you get to center ice, but they're very, very defensive-minded and disciplined defensively.
Well, this is a team that does not like to have the other team in possession of the puck. They like to keep it on their stick. Soviets again on the move. Coming up center ice is Savitsky. Savitsky still in possession. The drive. This one goes wide with a couple of people pinching in for Sokol Kiev. And now finally starting out is Dan Frawley. But he loses the puck immediately. And now it's played again by Alipov. Alipov going in on the right wing. Knocked off the play by Stolk. A chance now for Ботвинко. Ботвинко is tied up in the corner by Goertz. And then Stolk goes in heavily along the board. No stoppage of play. They're waiting for a whistle, and they finally get it. Now a little bit of activity after the whistle. And that was Savitsky, who got tangled up with Malvina. And now Clifford is calling for some help from the Soviet bench. One of their players is down heavily, and we'll try to find out who that is down there. It might be Savitsky.
I believe it's number 15, Kuzminski. I could be wrong on that play, though, but he took a, well, we're seeing now, it looks like number 19, exactly. That'll be Alipov.
It is 2-2 between Sokol Kiev, the visitors from the Soviet Union, from the Elite League, and the Muskegon Lumberjacks. Opportunity now for Sokol Kiev. Malkov, the centerman, tried to play it in. The puck comes back out center ice, and Dmitry Aratsov taking over for Sokol Kiev. Sokol Kiev has carried the play for much of the period, but Brad Aiken of the Lumberjacks has the only goal after the visitors had led 2-1 after the first period. Here's Aiken out center ice, skated off the puck nicely that time by Lubnin. And here is Sиньков with the puck now for Sokol Kiev. Across it comes to the defenseman Цыплаков, and now Jimmy Pake with the puck for the Lumberjacks just plays it back into the zone. And Sokol Kiev will start back out again. Nice bit of checking by Aiken along the boards. Pinching in that time is Daniels. Back behind the net is Wilson. Wilson made a run at one of the Sokol Kiev players and just completely whiffed on it. Whiffed on the check. Here comes Malkov. His pass broken up, and here comes Wilson again on the left wing, and what a hit there. Textbook check by the Soviet defenseman. Wilson and the Soviet player Цыплаков mixing it up a little bit. And the puck goes back in now behind the Lumberjack goal. Things getting a little testy out there right now. But this Soviet Union team is not going to be intimidated physically at all. That's not the way they prefer to play, but they are willing to mix it up. 5:38 remaining in the period. Here's an opportunity now. 2 of them going in. A nice play defensively by Mersch to take it away from Kulabukov. And here comes Capuano. Capuano got by the check, going right in the backhander, and it's knocked back out. And here comes the Soviet team. Capuano trying to lead the attack for the Lumberjacks. Big hit that time on Kulabukov for Sokol Kiev. Scott Gruel breaking in. The pass is behind him, and here comes Sokol Kiev again. This time, it's Naida who has a goal here tonight, one of 2 for the visitors. 5 minutes remaining in the period. Samoilov will cover this one up right in front of a charging Scott Gruel. And 1 tick under 5 minutes remaining, Mike, here in the second period.
Well, see the Lumberjacks picking up the tempo a little bit and putting the body on the Soviet team. I think that's the style of play the Lumberjacks would like to see played here tonight. And of course the Soviets like that freewheeling style. The Lumberjacks would like to see a little bit closer checking and a little more body being played, as evidenced by that last shift.
Evgeny Alipov left the ice under his own power. They were looking at his shoulder. We're not sure if he'll be back tonight or not. Here comes Zhitnik out to lead a 3-man charge for the Soviet team. Valiulin back to Zhitnik. Zhitnik put it on his backhand, lost it. Goertz took it away. It's held in at the blue line. They shoot it back in, Valiulin. And back to play it now is Dave Goertz for Muskegon. It comes out center ice. Mihайлюк trying to sneak away. Took it away from Lubnin. But it comes to the Soviet player, Valiulin. And now Yildashev. Yildashev going in on the left wing. Left at that time for Ovchinnikov. Behind the net goes Andrei Ovchinnikov, and he is roughed up there by Stolk. And the puck comes out center ice in front of the Sokol Kiev bench. And they'll simply play it back again, this time to Lubnin, the defenseman, who's played well here in period number 2. Yildashev got by Stolk, plays it right out in front, a great save by Clifford. Oh, what an opportunity at time. And Ovchinnikov is shaking his head, Mike. He thought he was home free. And super play by Chris Clifford. But right back into the action. Here comes Sokol Kiev again. Yildashev works away from Aiken. Aiken really let him have it along the boards and takes the puck away. And he's got Daniels breaking up on the left wing. Tough angle for Daniels. A short side drive turned away by Samoilov. Pake tries to go in after it, and he's knocked off the puck. Wilson roughs up the Soviet player. And they'll hold it for a face-off. But what an opportunity for Ovchinnikov. And what a save by Chris Clifford.
A great save by Clifford coming out and cutting down the angle on that puck, ricocheting off his body. But a fine save from Clifford, who hasn't seen a lot of shots in the first part of the period.
And that is Dmitry Erastov, the 24-year-old defenseman who goes into the penalty box for 2 minutes for roughing, along with Jim Pake of the Lumberjacks. So the teams right now will play with a pair of defensemen in the penalty box, but they will both have 5 skaters out there right now. 10 rubles, the sign tonight from LC Walker Arena. Well, the Sokol Kiev team, Mike, as you pointed out to me between periods, they're actually selling some souvenirs down there. So they're getting into the capitalistic spirit of Christmas here in North America.
Well, they want that cold, hard American cash. They don't want the rubles at all.
Back to the action now. Starting out with Zinovayev, the defenseman, skates it ahead. Zinovayev goes in across the blue line, drops it. A beautiful pass back to Savinsky, and the save made by Clifford. A chance again. A backhander goes wide by Zinovayev, and the net is knocked off the mooring. And I think we're going to get some more penalties here, or at least another penalty, perhaps. The net was knocked off the magnets that time, and let's see what the call is on this one, Mike. I didn't see the hand raised, but I saw the official racing over and pointing to somebody. Well, maybe no penalties.
I think he was just pointing at the net coming off the moorings. Odletsky was run very hard into the net by the Lumberjack defenseman there. I believe it was Mike Mersch, but play. There we go. We'll watch Mersch running Odletsky into the crossbars, and of course with the nets being on the magnets nowadays and not entrenched in the 6-inch pipes like in the old days, the net just comes off the moorings, and we go away from the play with nobody being hurt.
You talk about the magnets and what a change they've made in hockey. That's brought in a whole new bit of strategy, and I guess a native Michiganian is one of the guys most responsible for that. Mark Howe of the Philadelphia Flyers, who had a serious and almost life-threatening injury caused by one of those things a few years ago.
He paid a hefty price.
Mihайлюk a drive, and the goaltender Samoilov makes 2 great saves. He stopped Mihайлюk, and then the follow-up, the shot was by Frawley, and now Frawley's going to pick up a penalty here for charging. Delayed penalty. The Soviets pull their goaltender. They keep possession. Oh, great bit of work, and finally touched up there. And I'm not sure. I think Frawley, though, might have been a little bit frustrated. I think he had the second opportunity after the shot by Mihайлюk, and then he just took a run at the defenseman, and he's going to go here for 2 minutes. So with 2:28 remaining, it'll be a rare power play for Sokol Kiev.
As you'd say, Frawley missed that backhand shot in front of the net and follow it up with a heavy check in the corner. We'll take that two-minute penalty. The Soviets haven't had great success on their power play in their recent tour to the U.S. They're only working at a clip of 1 in the last 10, I believe, so they're down to 10%. That isn't definitely is not up to par compared to most Soviet standards.
I know that Blair McDonald not happy about this. One of his best defensemen, Pake, is in the penalty box right now, and with about 2.5 minutes remaining in the period, this is going to be a golden opportunity to see some Soviet pressure applied, Mike.
Well, they'll play their classic style and try and hold on to the puck and set up a perfect play. They may not take a shot on this power play until a minute 30 into this penalty, but they'll set up the perfect opportunity before they take one.
Malkov, the center, back to the blue line. The drive comes across, it goes wide. That was Lubnin misfiring. Now it's right in front of the net. Malkov has it again, goes into the corner. Soviet team putting on some pressure. Here's Malkov again. They're looking for the angle. Malkov's looking to play it across. Malkov again with Lubnin. Lubnin's going to crank it up, moves right in the drive, point blank range, and he scores. Oh, he just walked right in about 25 feet in front of Clifford. And you get those people moving side to side with that passing attack. Both defensemen that time moved to the wings, Mike. And it was Lubnin who just moved right in on Clifford and just blasted one by him.
Well, Lubnin and Malkov playing tag there with the puck, and as you said, the Lumberjack defenders backing off. Lubnin taking advantage and coming in with that big blast underneath the outstretched glove. We'll see it here, and really Chris Clifford didn't get to see a lot of this puck until the last minute, and is quite a blast from the point by Lubnin.
Now watch as we see 17 Glenn Mulvina move away, and then Lubnin just moves right in about 20 feet in front and goes low on the glove side to beat Chris Clifford. A tremendous blast from the point to give the Soviet team the 3-2 lead. And that passing really set that one up because you had people moving side to side. Lumberjacks were not standing still, but they didn't stop the man at the point. And it's 3-2 Sokol Kiev. So the penalty by Frawley, a costly one, as the visitors take a 1-goal lead. And here comes the Soviet team again, and another penalty being called here. And this time I think they're going to get Kulabukov, who was tangled up with a Muskegon player and then raised the stick. And he's going to go for the remainder of this period. 1:42 remaining, and now the Lumberjacks will have a chance to attack.
Well, Kulabukov with the gate. I believe he'll get a penalty for slashing. Scott Gruel and Kulabukov tied up, and Kulabukov with a one-handed slash, kind of an innocent slash. But nonetheless, the Lumberjacks will enjoy a power play here with a minute 42 to go in this second period.
Well, Scott Gruel has drawn penalties like that for years and years here in Muskegon. He's a rather sly one with the stick, and he's a master of getting the first one in before anybody's looking, and I think that's what happened that time. Gruel is out there right now on the power play with Daniels and Gancher. And also on now for the Lumberjacks is Dave Capuano. But this team is very good at killing penalties, and they're probably very dangerous as well. So Muskegon doesn't want to get too fancy. They want to play solidly here on this power play. And now Sokol Kiev will try to start a man out, and they'll simply flip it down the ice. The man who played it down that time was Naida, who has one of the 3 goals here tonight. Each team has scored here in the second period, down to a minute 5 remaining. Almost an opportunity for Malkov, and now Malkov has it. He's just going to skate it back into his own zone. He'll play it across to the defenseman, and that's Zinoviev who simply flips it in, and it's picked up by Dave Goertz with 55 seconds remaining in the period. Here comes Capuano out center ice. Gancher for the Lumberjacks. Puck goes in. Gruel will chase in with it, after it, along with Sinькov. And Sokol Kiev plays it out. Now it's Zinoviev who plays it across for Sinькov. Sinькov right in on Clifford. Oh, he went wide. He raised the hands. He thought he had it home. He had cleanly beat Clifford there, just didn't put it on the net. He was shocked that one didn't go in, Mike.
Well, that makes 2 of us.
Oh, and here's another opportunity for Malkov. And this guy obviously is a very classy centerman for Sokol Kiev. Very solid player. Now a chance for the Jacks. It is Daniels in, and he scores. Jeff Daniels picked up a loose puck on a relatively innocent-looking play that time. The Jacks didn't really have any pressure pressure per se, and Daniels went to the backhand and went up high to tie it at 3-3.
Well, we'll see Frawley with the puck here. He'll just dish it off to Daniels, who'll go in and go straight to the backhand and gets it top shelf. A la the Russians, you'll see them go upstairs, top shelf quite often, and Daniels makes good, ties this hockey game 3-3 with only 11 seconds to go.
Well, we can recall that game in Lake Placid back in 1980 when the United States team beat the Soviets in the Olympics. They had a goal in the last couple of seconds of the second period there that got them back into the game, and now the Lumberjacks strike at the 1949 mark of the second period to tie it at 3-3. It is Gruel and Frawley drawing the assist on the goal by Jeff Daniels. And the horn goes to end the second period. A good second period it is.
Welcome back to the LC Walker Arena here in Muskegon. Bob Trimble. Our score 3-2, or excuse me, 3-3 now. Sokol, Kiev, and Muskegon tied after 2 periods of play. Quite a physical second period, one that saw one of the players for Sokol Kiev become injured and had to be taken to the hospital with an arm problem. That was number 19, Yevgeny Alipov. Again, he has been taken to a local hospital, problem with his arm, and we'll update you on that. Joining me now is the veteran, the captain of the Sokol Kiev team, and that would be Piotr Malkov, the captain, number 16, and also once again joining us is our interpreter, thank goodness, the professor of Russian at Grand Valley State University, Kristine Riedel. And my first question to Piotr would be, so much physical play with the Lumberjacks tonight. Was this something you were expecting in your U.S. tour?
Вы ожидали, что игра сегодня будет такая физическая? Ожидали?
Да, я ожидал, что игра будет очень тяжелой, потому что у нас и переезды, большие, можно сказать, перелеты, и вот уже 2 игры сыграли. И вообще хоккей латиноамериканский очень жесткий. Мы готовились заранее к этим играм.
He said that he expected it to be very hard physical play, and he said the other thing is they knew it would be a tough game for them because this is their 3rd game. They've been going on planes and buses and everything else, and that they prepared for it because they know in general American hockey is much more stronger and more physical.
Now again, you'll be playing a total of 11 games between when it started this week going through December 22nd. That kind of a schedule and travel, is that something that's unusual for you, for the team during the season?
Это ненормально, что так много играете в течение 16 дней, 11.
Да.
Да. Это нормально или нет?
Нет, у нас обычно большие промежутки между играми.
It's not normal because usually between games there are very big periods of rest.
You're the captain of the team. There's a significant number of young players on the team, so they would more than likely look up to you in a leadership role. Teacher, is this a role that you like?
Но он спрашивает, говорит, что большинство игроков моложе, молодые, и вы капитан, и вы любите эту роль, и вы как-то учителем для них, или...
Ну, понял. У нас эта роль выборочная. Ребята доверили, коллектив молодой, у нас смена поколений происходит, ветераны закончили у нас, играют в зарубежных клубах. В Европе, в основном.
He said that it's not really the same thing. He said that it's, you know, since they play as a collective, they have a switch. They rotate who's captain, and the older ones get to be captain.
The National Hockey League for us has produced great players, mostly from Canada, such as Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Brian Trottier. Are these players and the league something that you, as players in the Soviet Union, watch or hear about quite a bit?
Ну, вы смотрите эти игры канадские, ну, вы знаете эти известные игроки.
Да, это мы следим. Сейчас с удовольствием смотрим все игры, оказались.
He said especially in the recent times, with great pleasure they watch the games.
И советский спорт у нас газета
And there's
постоянно
a
публикует.
newspaper called Soviet Sport, and they publish all the statistics, and so they get to know what's going on all over the world.
Are they ever able to see a game being played from United States?
Ну, вы смотрите передачу
As opposed to
иногда.
just hearing about it?
Да,
Да-да,
смотрим. Хоккей, вот вчера смотрели только хоккей очень.
Yes, they've seen it.
Играли. 2-1 выиграла, как сейчас.
What about your particular team? Is this you've played on this team for several years? Is this team this year a good one compared to past years, or is it young and still building?
В сравнении с другими командами, это ваша команда теперь, она сильная или не такая сильная, как была раньше?
сейчас не такая сильная, средняя команда. Можно сказать, даже ниже среднего уже.
He
Молодые
said that
ребята.
it's not a really strong team. It's sort of an average team and maybe even a little below average.
We'll let him know that we think it's quite above average. That must prove that the teams in the Soviet Union are tremendous
Он
teams.
говорит, что мы думаем, считаем, что это очень хорошая команда, и это просто доказывает, что команды в Советском Союзе на очень хорошем высшем уровне.
Мы в чемпионате занимаем 7-е место.
They have the 7th place in the league.
Right. West Michigan is where you're at, obviously, today and last night. Do you any memories or anything? Has it been a friendly time for you here in your stay?
Дружно здесь, в
Да,
Мичигане.
очень гостеприимно.
Very hospitable.
И везде нас встречают очень гостеприимный
And he
народ.
said every place that they've gone, everybody has greeted them very hospitably.
The number one team, Chimik, number one team, and you're in 7th place right now after your first half of your season. Does your team have the ability to come back and maybe become first place by the end of the season?
Он говорит, что теперь это уже полсезона, да?
Да,
И есть возможность, чтобы выше ваша команда была. Думаете, что теперь 7-е место, Химик 1-е, но в конце сезона,
Да,
где вы
повыше.
будете? Как
Но мы
думаете?
рассчитываем где-то 5-е место занять. Потому что ребята молодые, мастерства набираются, опыта. И уже отбились уже хорошие такие.
And this is the scene at Muskegon's L.C. Walker Arena between periods number 2 and 3. Tom Cleary and Mike Forbes, along with Bob Trimble, here tonight for the game between Sokol Kiev of the Soviet Elite League and the Muskegon Lumberjacks of the IHL. It was Sokol Kiev leading 2-1 after one period of play. Brad Aiken scored for the Lumberjacks to tie it, and then the two teams swapped goals. Lubnin on a power play for Sokol Kiev, and then late in the second period, Jeff Daniels scoring on the backhander to tie it up. Mike, it's been relatively close 2 periods of action, and we're going to take a look right now at the goal by the Muskegon goal by Brad Aiken there. We just saw the tail end of it. Aiken, assisted by Pake, just 30 seconds into the second period.
Well, a strong move to the net by the Lumberjack forward. Mitch Wilson, I believe, helped Brad Aiken in tying that hockey game, but we can see the Soviet power play goal here is Lubnin walking in with a big blast here from the point, right underneath the outstretched glove. It's Ботвинко from Malkov, and really Chris Clifford, there was nothing he could do about that one.
Well, certainly that was a big goal that made it 3-2 there, and you saw Mihайлюk and the other player, Mulvina, backing away each time. And here is the final goal of the period. It's Daniels throwing the puck across the blue line to Frawley. Frawley backhands it between the defensemen, who got a little bit lackadaisical there. And then Daniels goes up top with 11 seconds remaining in the period. Frawley and Gruel assisting on that goal. But 2 goals in that period for the Muskegon Lumberjacks against a single goal by Sokol Kiev. 20 minutes left in this game, Mike. What do we look for now from both teams in this last period?
Well, the Lumberjacks characteristically are strong in the third period, and I think they have to continue to keep the pressure up against the Soviet team. The Soviets, of course, want to play a control game, and they'll just play the same way they played in the first and second. The Lumberjacks have to pick it up a little bit to really take this game out in the third period.
New goaltender in there right now. Chris Clifford finished the second period, and he played a strong 10 minutes, I thought, in that second period for the Lumberjacks.
Well, he played very, very well, and we can look for him to play the same in the third period. He's played very well for the Lumberjacks to date, and no reason to think he's going to fall apart.
A couple of penalties in that second period. The big penalty was really the one taken by Frawley after he missed a scoring opportunity, and that led to the power play goal. Frawley, Pake also had a penalty in the second period. He went with Ratsov, the Soviet player, and then late, Kulabukov went with just under 2 minutes remaining, and that allowed Jeff Daniels to get his opportunity. But here's the shots on goal for the second period, and a big edge here for Sokol Kiev as we're getting set now to face it off for the third and final period. Malkov is on right now. And that number 1 line for the Soviet Union, along with Ботвинко. And here are the Soviets starting out. Actually, we had credited Ботвинко for that goal in the second period, but I'm quite sure it was Lubnin, a left-handed shooter, who got it for Sokol Kiev. The goal that made it 3-2, but we'll check on the scoring of that one. We saw it listed there between periods as Ботвинко, but I think it was Lubnin. Here the Lumberjacks with an opportunity. And a new goaltender, Yuri Shundrov, is on right now for Sokol Kiev. So both teams have gone to their reserve goaltenders. Here's a play out in front of the net, and Sokol Kiev starting out right now. And here comes Sиньков, Oleg Sиньков across the blue line, flips it out in front, and then Muskegon player Pake took a stick up in the face area, and I believe he got tangled up with Ботвинко as they crossed in behind the play. Pake got one up around the eyes, and we'll see if we can figure out exactly what happened on the replay there, as the trainer is out right now for Muskegon.
Well, Joe Franke attending to Jimmy Pake, and the Soviets come across. It was a 2-on-2, and the one Soviet player just got a stick up a little bit high, and it was purely accidental. We see Pake on the ice right there on the replay, and it looks like Peter Malkov is the one that got his stick up and caught Jimmy Pake in the face area. We hope that, that Jimmy will be fine there. We see the high stick, of course. Looks like it got him in around the eye area, and as I said, hopefully Jimmy will be up and able to continue play.
Well, the Soviet team has lost a player here tonight. Evgeny Alipov had to depart with a shoulder injury. He will not be back tonight. He's been taken to the hospital for an x-ray, and the bad news is they believe that he may have suffered a fractured collarbone or perhaps a shoulder separation, but he was definitely gone for the night. Sokol Kiev has dressed a few more players here this evening than the Lumberjacks, who played last night, and fatigue could become a factor here, Mike, in the third period.
Well, I believe that Sokol Kiev has 22 players dressed the Lumberjacks with one below the minimum of the IHL of 18. They're dressed with 17 because of an injury to one of the Lumberjacks, Richard Zemlak, last night. So, as you said, fatigue could become a factor in the latter stages of this game.
Well, here come the Jacks. Gancher with Gruel behind him. They go in on the same wing. Gancher plays it right out in front. The defenseman is there to play it for Sokol Kiev, and starting back out quickly is Kulabukov. He's tied up, though, at the blue line by Dave Capuano. And now it's shot in by Cıplakov. Vladimir Cıplakov plays it into the Muskegon end. And starting out now is Paul Stanton. And now Gancher, a drive, and that went just wide. And you saw a great shot there from our center ice camera. That missed by just a couple of inches on the far side. Now going in, Бурханов goes in heavily. He's taken down as Stanton pulls him down, and now Muskegon starts back out. The Lumberjacks are going to go for a change. Gancher is simply going to flip it in as Muskegon changes on the go. Mihайлюk is on right now. He's bumped along the boards by Kulabukov. And now starting back out is Zitnik. Zitnik had a man up ahead at center ice. That was Valiulin, but he couldn't get it to him. And now it's Mihайлюk taking over for the Jacks. Long left wing pass up ahead. It comes to Glenn Malvina. And now once again Zitnik for Sokol Kiev. Plays it back behind the goal. Back there to take it is Lubnin, the defenseman who scored a goal in the second period. And now Valiulin will flip it in. This puck will be played by Darren Stolk, who's on right now defensively. Pake has been injured. And now the puck is loose in front of the Muskegon goal, and Stolk is back to chase it. Valiulin giving him some pressure. This is Ovchinnikov. Ovchinnikov with the puck, played it across. That time in Yoldashev couldn't get there for Sokol Kiev, but Yoldashev has it, plays it back in. Taking the puck now is Valiulin. He is tied up there by Goertz. It comes loose to Dan Frawley, and he'll knock it back across the blue line. But back to pick it up immediately is Jitnik for Sokol Kiev. Yoldashev will throw it into the corner. Ovchinnikov back there for Sokol Kiev. A shot from the blue line, a drive and a goal. And that one is Zinoviev, Dmitry Zinoviev, that time wrong-footed the goaltender, I think, Mike. A very innocent-looking play, and he just put it on the net. Everybody was coming back the other way, and he went to back on the glove side up high to make it 4-3, and here it is.
Well, that's a more difficult shot than it looks. Zinoviev with that one-time shot coming off, the puck coming off the boards across in front of him, and he one-timed that off his wrong foot, and really a whale of a shot. Chris Clifford, as you can see on the replay, was screened on the play, and he never saw it until it was by him and in the net. Zinoviev puts the Soviets ahead 4-3.
The 24-year-old defenseman Dmitry Zinoviev with the goal there for Sokol Kiev. His team back on top, 4-3. And here comes Sokol Kiev on the move once again. This time it's the goal scorer, Zinoviev, with the puck. Plays it back across center ice. Bad bounce off the boards. It got away from Kuzminski, who's on for a rare appearance here tonight. Now a big hit at the blue line by the Soviet player, and that was Vyacheslav Timchenko. 16-11 here, remaining in the third period. Sokol Kiev on top of the Lumberjacks 4-3. Tom Cleary along with Mike Forbes and Bob Trimble. Here's a shot from the point, taken by Aratsov, knocked down by Muskegon. Gruel chasing after it, but a good play to get back and cover up there by Cıplakov, the defenseman. Here comes Sokol Kiev again. This is Malkov, the captain, plays it back to the point. Cıplakov, the shot, went through some legs out in front. Sokol Kiev maintaining possession. It goes back in, and now finally taking control there by Mike Mertz of the Lumberjacks. He starts Scott Gruel out. Gruel is pulled away from the play. The puck is loose in front. Chasing in after it is Gancher. And now taking over. Well, Gruel got a stick on it. He's knocked down. Gancher sent it out in front, and now finally it is Malkov, the center, and the captain of this team, back to bring it out center ice. Tipped down the ice that time by Sиньков. And here come the Lumberjacks. They're starting out now with Gancher. He lost it. Here's a chance for Malkov going on 1-on-2. A slap shot. Oh, it got by Clifford. He juggled that one, but it goes wide of the net. Play comes back out to the blue line, held in. Oletsky here. Here's an opportunity for the Soviets, and that shot went wide off the stick of Найда. Kulabukov now on the move, center ice, goes in across the blue line, tries to split the defense, knocked down Stolk, a drive on the backhand, a good shot there by Бурханов, and a good save by Clifford, a drive by the point, stick save by Clifford, an opportunity coming up again by Lubnin, and still another save by Clifford, so pretty much a two-man game there, Mike, between Clifford and Sergei Lubnin. And here's an opportunity for Sokol Kiev. Again, a drive and a goal. And it's Найда using his man out in front as a screen. It was Kulabukov who got in front of Clifford. And for the first time tonight, we have a two-goal lead as Sokol Kiev with that constant offensive pressure. Anatoly Найда getting his second goal of the night. And here it is. The defenseman back there for Muskegon was Paul Stanton, and he was occupied by Kulabukov. And a quick wrist shot beats Clifford.
Well, we see Найда with Kulabukov, and he used Paul Stanton as a screen, let loose with that patented Russian wrist shot. Beat Chris Clifford low to that stick side, and the Soviets up 5-3.
I'm sure Blair McDonald is thinking right now that we're going to have to get a treaty with these guys on that kind of a shot, because it's been very lethal for his team so far here tonight. 5-3 our score. Sokol Kiev on top by a couple. We've had a fast-paced and entertaining game here tonight at LC Walker Arena. The Soviets have applied all of the pressure here in period number 3. And, of course, we mentioned that Muskegon played last night with Kalamazoo. Fatigue may be a problem. Mulvina goes in. Backhander misses on the short side. Nice work by Shundrov to get back into position here. Puck comes back out in front, and it's cleared away now. And here comes Ovchinnikov for the Soviet Union team. Sokol Kiev. Mihайлюk is hit by 3 players over there on the left wing, and Boris getting a little manhandled right at the moment. Here is Sokol Kiev again. They play it ahead. It's Yuldashev. Drop pass now. Back to Yuldashev it comes. Valiulin goes in front of the net, and he miscued on that shot. He was right in the slot. A beautiful feed by his teammate. Here comes Savitsky. He'll drop it at the blue line. Valiulin the tip. A good save by Clifford there. And a lot of pressure again. It's Yuldashev. Ramil Yuldashev, who we talked about earlier. Valiulin now with the puck, skating away from Aiken. Beautiful play into the slot. Savitsky, a drive off the pads by Clifford. And you can't fault Clifford for everything that's happened here in the third period. He has faced some incredible heat, Mike.
Boy, he's done a great job. He could file for non-support at this point in time. The Soviets controlling the play all through this third period.
A lot of standing around right now by the Lumberjacks. Aiken's line looks as though they're trying to get a blow somehow. And the Soviets are really turning up the heat. And finally, it's flipped back out center ice. And an opportunity here for Daniels. Plays it ahead. Here's Aiken, a drive. He scores! Oh, the Soviet players are kicking themselves on that one because they had all the pressure in the world on. And maybe they got a little lackadaisical getting back. But Aiken found himself wide open. That was probably the first occasion tonight when only one defenseman got back there. Here's Aiken going in on to Shundrov. And he beats him on the stick side low. And Muskegon is back within a goal.
Boy, we'll tell you, Muskegon hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but they've made good on all of them. We see Brad Aiken coming in. He's not going to go for the deke here. He's going to shoot all the way. You can tell the way he's set up and let loose with a great wrist shot right underneath the stick of the Soviet goaltender. Lumberjacks coming back now after really taking it on the chin by the Soviets for the most part of this third period. Come back and get within 1 at 5-4.
Not a lot of justice in that last shift for that Aiken line. They were not playing too well there. They were taking a lot of punches, really, in boxing vernacular, you might say, Mike, and they end up scoring a goal. Here's an opportunity now as the Soviet team breaks out. With it is Sиньков. The dangerous forward drops it at the blue line, but it is Ботвинко who's unable to hold it in. Now a chance. Here's Kапуано going right in on goal. A drive. Oh, and it's kicked out nicely by Shundrov. Oh, Shundrov made a good save there, and a whistle stops the play. And I'm not sure what's going to happen, but perhaps we're going to have, well, there's an injury back up ice, and the man who's down is Sиньков. I thought we might be getting a penalty against Sokol Kiev, but instead they're going to check and see what has happened to Oleg Sинькov, who went down right in front of his own bench. Here's the opportunity for Muskegon on the replay. And Shundrov is 33 years old, and he moves about pretty well for a man that age, Mike.
Well, I know I'm 33, and I wish I could skate like this guy does. So now we're getting a look at the injured Soviet player, and it was behind the play. It looked like he ran into referee Dave Cassidy on the play and went down and didn't.
We just made recorded history again.
The new JVC camcorder with full features now sale priced at Langlois stores only $7.98. Langlois stores, Muskegon.
And the face-off will be in front of the goaltender Yuri Shundrov, number 22, who's come out to play here the third period. It will be Найда going in against number 16, Dave Kapуано, and Sokol Kiev wins the draw, and they come back out. Well, it's not cleared, and finally comes out center ice. Gancher trying to get something started. Here's Найда. Vyacheslav Timchenko up on the left wing. It comes ahead to Kulabukov. He goes in with Gancher, maintains possession. The Soviet player got knocked down in front. No call. And now starting back out, it is Kapуано for the Lumberjacks. Tries to go wide, gets around the defenseman Zinovьев, who has scored a goal here tonight. And finally, the puck taken over there by Найда. Back out center ice it comes. Drop pass and across it goes, that time to Найда. Soviet team trying to apply some pressure, and this puck comes back out. Here's an opportunity for Frawley if he can get there. And there's the player coming back from Sokol Kiev. Nicely, Cipleikov, the defenseman, got back there in a hurry to cut off Frawley. And now it's Dave Goertz going down in a flurry, and now some rough play along the boards. Sticks are flying. Somebody jumps in there, Frawley. And now a little bit of fisticuffs, and nobody really wants to see this from either delegation, I'm sure. Frawley is smacking somebody. Both teams still trying to get at it a little bit right in front of the Soviet bench, and I think we're going to see penalties on both sides right now. Not sure what precipitated that. I know that Goertz went down very heavily on a clean check, and then the sticks got up a little bit, Mike, and maybe you saw better what transpired from that point.
Well, there was a couple of hard checks thrown along the boards, and the Lumberjacks.
The big and tall shop of Rogers Department Store, the official fashion locker of the Grand Rapids Hoops.
For the Soviet Union, number 18, Ali Burganov.
Burkanov will go off for Sokol Kiev here. 2 minutes for high sticking and the 2-minute penalty to Darren Stolk of the Lumberjacks for roughing. So neither team will lose any manpower in this situation. 5 skaters aside with 10:56 remaining. Sokol Kiev leading 5-4 on the strength of 2 third-period goals here. Now a chance for Frawley. Frawley tries to lay in front that time for Malvina, and Malvina couldn't get a stick on it. Here's Valiulin for the Soviet Union. And then it is Goertz going in heavily with Valiulin right in front of the Lumberjack bench. Here's Valiulin again for the Soviet team. In possession, Sokol Kiev. And now it is Ovchinnikov getting hit along the boards, and the referee's whistle stops the action here. We'll have a face-off deep in the Muskegon zone.
Well, the Lumberjacks really taking the body to the Soviets, and the Soviets, a lot like a Timex watch, they take a licking and keep on ticking. It doesn't seem to bother them. They'll take checks all over the ice, come back and play with the same intensity. They're not intimidated in the least bit.
Well, it's certainly the Muskegon's advantage to throw the body around a little bit, Mike, but in the second period, they had that 5-minute stretch where they were concentrating on body hits, and they virtually were unable to touch the puck for long stretches of time, and you can't score when you don't have the puck. And they've got to do a little bit offensively here in the last 10 minutes of this game.
That's exactly right, especially being down 1 goal at this point.
The Soviets would be happy now to just check back and forth between the blue lines. And they've got the lead by a goal. Great move here inside by Yuldashev. He lost possession. It comes back out to the blue line, and the defenseman Savitsky lost possession, but back to cover up is Lubnin. Lubnin plays it across to Zinoviev. Lubnin again. And he'll skate it back in behind his own goal. Zinoviev will throw it out center ice, and now it comes back out into the Muskegon zone. Aiken will go back to play it for the Lumberjacks with 9:40 remaining. 5-4 our score. Aiken lost possession there, had to play it down into the Soviet zone. Wilson will get there first ahead of the Sokol player. He played it out in front. It comes back out to the blue line to Stanton. His shot high almost took the head off of Mitch Wilson. And now it comes back out in front. A good play by the Soviet defenseman to clear it back out center ice. Here's Mersch with it. Plays it back now to Daniels. Daniels has a goal here tonight for Muskegon. Back in to get it is Zinoviev for Sokol Kiev. He plays it back out center ice, and here comes the centerman Malkov. He's got a man with him, Ботвинко. Ботвинко, a drive, goes wide. It comes back out to the blue line. This is Sиньков who got a stick on it. Malkov still in possession, plays it back out in front. Here's Sиньков, the backhander. Oh, it goes right out in front. And Wilson was able to tie up Malkov, and now he's going to take Malkov down. And now both teams do a little bit of swinging. And I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but I think Wilson may be going here for interference right in front of the net. We'll wait and see, Mike.
Well, really, the Lumberjacks playing a physical brand of hockey as they always do, but you don't need to take it that one step farther like the Lumberjacks have tonight. The Soviet team, you can play the body and go that route, but when you go to the point of where you're punching and really getting too over-aggressive, I think that, especially with an international event like we have tonight, it's just going a little bit too far.
Well, there are going to be penalties here, and I'm not sure, but I think that Sokol Kiev might get the better of this. We might have a 2-1 going in this situation. I thought Wilson was definitely going to get a penalty, and they waved Aiken over toward the penalty box. Malkov, I think, is going to go as well. We see Wilson going in, and now the offsetting penalties from before have expired. So Stolk is back out, along with Бурханов. Well, this is a break for the Lumberjacks, really, because it looks as though it's just going to be the captain, Malkov, and Mitch Wilson, each going for a couple of minutes here, I would imagine, for roughing.
Well, it looks like Mitch Wilson is going to get an extra 2 or possibly one or the other. It looks like Brad Aiken is making his way over to the penalty box right now. So the Lumberjacks will be on the penalty killing situation with the Soviet Sokol Kiev team on the power play. And really, that is justified considering what happened on the ice. The Lumberjacks coming out and having to kill off this penalty. There's no way that they could have come out of that situation even strength.
I couldn't hear what they were saying over the public address system, but I think what happened is that Malkov and Wilson are going for Malkov and Aiken are going for roughing, and Wilson gets the original penalty on the play. So the Lumberjacks down a goal are shorthanded here with 8:40 remaining. And the last time we saw this power play for the Sokol Kiev team, it was awesome. Here's Ovchinnikov. Goes in. The Lumberjacks are able to clear the zone. This one will come all the way back out to Shundrov, and it'll be played back there by Vyacheslav Timchenko for Sokol Kiev. Zinoviev plays it ahead to Ovchinnikov. Ovchinnikov over the blue line, plays it over on the left wing. Sиньков right in on goal. A backhander, he scores! Oh, and Sинькov that time really pulled the trigger quickly. Going in on a tough angle, crossed it over to the backhand, and then just beat Clifford cleanly to give his team a 2-goal margin once again, Mike.
Well, here we see Sинькov coming down the wing, and he fakes that shot right there, goes to the backhand and slips it by the outstretched glove side. He went to the long side there on Chris Clifford. He makes good. We see this one more time with the fake. Here we go to the backhand and out by that outstretched glove of Chris Clifford. Sokol Kiev 6, the Lumberjacks 4.
Well, the Lumberjacks certainly, I think, have gotten the message now that they cannot afford to take any more penalties in this game because the last 2 power plays have really been lethal for Sokol Kiev.
After having a poor start on their power play in this North American tour, they've been 100% in their last 2 attempts.
And they didn't waste any time on either of their last 2. Here's another opportunity for Sokol Kiev, 3-on-2. Starting out now is Бурханов. He lays it off to Kulabakov, the trailer of the play, Бурханов. Oh, and he had a lot behind that one, but he shot it wide. See Plakov pitches in front of the Muskegon Lumberjacks bench. Some sticks coming up rather high there. Capuano is there, and here's Sokol Kiev again. Kulabukov loses it, and it's Jim Pake who's back on now after being injured there earlier for the Lumberjacks. 7:35 remaining. Here is Aratsov, the veteran defenseman. He'll skate it around right now. This team is not going to take any silly chances with a 2-goal lead. Here's Taylor with it, plays it into Gruel. Gruel's got a man across. Frawley, if he gets it there, he does. Frawley left it right out in front, tried to make the extra pass, and it's broken up by the defenseman. You can't fault Dan there, but you think that perhaps maybe if he had thought better of it, he might have put it on the net.
Boy, it was a great opportunity looking for that pass across.
And we're back with 7:12 remaining. Tom Cleary along with Mike Forbes and Bob Trimble. Third period action here at LC Walker Arena. Sokol Kiev of the Soviet Elite League on top 6-4. Here's Valiulin starting back on now with Yoldashev. Yoldashev trying to go. It's knocked into the air. Possession. Is over there, and he ties up the Soviet player for a face-off to the left of Chris Clifford, who has really faced the firing squad here in the third period, Mike.
Boy, I don't know what the shots are. The Soviets shooting the Lumberjacks in the first two periods, 22-13, and I would imagine that they've had at least 10 or 12 opportunities in the first 14 minutes of this third period.
Ovchinnikov in to take the face-off against Mulvina. Let's see if he can pull it back now to Valiulin or to Yoldashev. Actually, it's not Yoldashev, but Zitnik back at the point for Sokol Kiev. Soviets win the draw. Here's the shot. The save by Clifford. He's going to cover up right off the faceoff that time. They drew it back nicely that time. And the man who took the shot there was Lubnin. They've got a lot of people out there right now that we have listed as defensemen. Zitnik, Lubnin, and also Ovchinnikov. Shows you the versatility of this team, Mike.
Well, they definitely do, and as we had stated earlier, every player gets involved in the offensive strategy, whether it's a defenseman or a forward, and you see some of the defensemen tonight playing forward with some injuries to the Sokol Kiev team.
6:43 remaining, a 2-goal Muskegon deficit. And here comes Lubnin. Nice pass on the right wing. It comes out to Savinsky. He is taken off the puck by Stolk. And it comes back out now to Mulvina. Long right wing pass to Frawley. Got past the linesman. Frawley goes in. He's checked heavily by Zitnik. And it comes back out to the point. The shot got by, and it goes in behind the net. It went just wide of Yuri Shundrov. And here comes Sokol Kiev. This is Ramil Yoldashev. Plays it back now to Lubnin. Back to Yoldashev. The Jacks changing on the go. This is Ovchinnikov going in wide. Lost possession. He's tied up there by Mihайлюк. Knocked off the puck. In battling for it is Zoletsky. And he goes in heavily with Aiken down there. And we'll get a face-off with 5:56 remaining now in the third period. Here you see the action and the goals in the third period. Zinoviev to make it 4-3. And then after that, the goal that made it 5-3 for the Soviet team. Aiken answered to make it 5-4, and then Sinькov getting the goal that gave his team a 2-goal margin. Sokol Kiev wins the face-off, and now it's Aiken covering up and flipping back out center ice. Back to play now is Vyacheslav Timchenko. Timchenko gets around Wilson, loses the puck. Oletsky's there. He plays it back in behind his goal. Wilson tried to knock it back out in front, and it's taken now by Savitsky. Savitsky, nice move around Jeff Daniels there, but it's knocked off his stick, and here's Wilson open on the right wing. Zinoviev lost his helmet, and now covering up the Soviet player. And it's Kuzminsky starting forward right now. Kuzminsky. The trailer on the play is Savinsky. Alexander Kuzminsky takes it into the corner. A couple of people tie up down there behind Clifford. And with 5:05 remaining, still a 2-goal lead for Sokol Kiev. Both teams going for changes a little bit more frequently right now, and that's especially important for the Lumberjacks, who need to get some fresh legs on the ice, Mike.
Well, the Lumberjacks, of course, playing short-handed with only 17 players. Sokol Kiev, I think, are feeling the effects of the physical play that the Lumberjacks have been doling out here in this third period, as well as a greater part of the second period.
Malkov, the veteran centerman, takes the face-off. He won it, but it comes across to Scott Gruel on the left wing. He is checked there by the defenseman, Lubnin, who knocks him off the puck, and Sokol Kiev takes over once again. Here's a Rastov, the defenseman, plays it up the left wing. It comes out now to Stanton for the Lumberjacks. Stanton flips it. It hit Gruel. Malkov is there to check him. The puck comes into the zone. Here is Gancher with it. He is tied up and taken heavily into the boards there by Sиньков. It comes free. Gruel is hit hard. Gruel kind of dived on the puck after he lost his stick, and here come the Soviets out again. And this is Sиньков. Sиньков got it back, and it goes right under the stick of Clifford. Oh, nice little touch-and-go play that time. Sиньков and Ботвинко combining. One of those plays that didn't look all that dangerous, but suddenly there's the puck loose in front of the goaltender, Mike.
Boy, as you see, they come across the blue line there and just some fancy stick handling. And as you said, a give-and-go play, something that looked innocent enough at the blue line, but once they get close to the net, a pretty good opportunity for the Soviet team, and Chris Clifford was wise to jump on that rebound.
Seems like all these guys that play up front have very soft hands. They can make that puck dance around, do just about anything they want with it.
Well, they dance pretty well on their skates as well, and they've got, as you said, soft hands. They roll their wrists very well and control the puck extremely well with stick handling. You don't see that anywhere else in the world, and the players that can stick handle to this ability in North America are all in the National League.
Capuano on the draw. The Lumberjacks start back in. It's fired in. Shundrov plays it. Gruel is there to get it in the corner. Now it is Gancher who's loose. It's shot back out center ice, and I believe this will be icing against Sokol Kiev with about 4:05 remaining when the Muskegon player Paul Stanton gets back to touch up. 4:07 actually left here in the third period. 6-4 our score at Walker Arena. Faceoff comes back in to the Soviet zone. Shundrov has done a nice job here in the third period, taking over for the starter Samoylov. A veteran at 33, one of the oldest players on this squad, and they've got some young guys. They've got 2 or 3 teenagers playing on this team, guys that we very well could see in the National Hockey League someday soon. Soviets win the draw. Starting out quickly now is Cıplakov across center ice, got a couple of people open, and going in offside on the left wing was Бурханов that time. Little dipsy-doodle move there by the charging defenseman Vladimir Cıplakov. And Chris Clifford getting a little encouragement from his teammates, and they're going to have to make a charge here pretty soon. They can't afford to just trade at this point, Mike, with this Sokol Kiev team, which is still keeping the pressure on with that 2-goal lead.
Well, they're not going to let up at all. They'll be relentless. The Lumberjacks 2 goals down with just under 4 minutes to go. Really have to look for some type of miracle to get themselves back into this game. The Soviets have been dominant throughout this third period.
Frawley, Molvina, and Mihайлюk on right now with Goertz and Darren Stolk. Naida's line is back out there for the Soviet team, Kulabukov. And the third member of that checking line right now is the centerman, Malkov, who takes a hit. Actually, not Malkov, but Бурханов, Ali Бурханов, who took the hit that time from Goertz right down in front of us. Under 3.5 minutes remaining. Sokol Kiev starting out one more time. It comes out to the blue line. It's broken up there, and here's Dan Frawley in front of the Sokol Kiev bench. But back to take possession is Naida, a goal scorer here tonight. Now an opportunity is Kulabukov got by Darren Stolk, who kind of pulled him down. Kulabukov did a little bit of a dive, but didn't get the call from the official. Delayed offsides call on the play, and now Muskegon starts back out with Molvina. Molvina flips it ahead, but really no cohesion in the Lumberjack attack. And starting back now is Savitsky. He loses the puck. Sokol Kiev gets it back. Here's Valiulin, who goes in with Molvina and Daniels. Goertz now with 2:47 remaining. Lumberjacks need a goal in a hurry. Daniels got knocked down at the blue line, and then Aiken took it in offside. So face-off comes back outside the blue line with 2:41 remaining. And it looks as though the visitors will add another win to their total. They have played twice here in this North American tour. A 10-1 win at Adirondack, the Red Wings farm team in the American League, and then a 0-0 tie with Fort Wayne. And we talked to some of the people who are part of this delegation. They told us that they had very tough travel arrangements to get to Fort Wayne, and the team seemed to be out of gas for that one, Mike.
Well, they were on the bus from 4 in the morning until almost till game time in Fort Wayne, and they had a very difficult time adjusting to the travel, as well as the fact they haven't even been in the country a week. So they use that as their excuse for their poor performance. Of course, they played very, very well here this evening and seem to have recuperated from their travel exhaustion.
No doubt about it, these guys can play. They have a 2-goal margin right now, but you'd have to say in all honesty that there has been a wider margin in terms of the play here tonight. Sokol Kiev has really had much the better of it, and except for Muskegon's ability to score when they've had the rare chance, this margin could be a lot wider.
Well, I think that the shots on goal will be the telltale signal of the disparity in the play. The Lumberjacks really haven't played that poorly. It's just that the Soviet team has controlled the play and controlled the puck and just not allowed the Lumberjacks to play their brand of hockey.
About 2:20 remaining here in the contest, and here comes Sokol Kiev out again. Four of them start out. This is Žitnik across the blue line, looking for the trailer. They played it right in. Valiulin was there on the doorstep, but he couldn't get a stick on it. And here's Aiken now, starting out with Daniels. Wilson jumping up to join the attack, along with Jimmy Pake, who's pinching in. And there you see Muskegon starting to take some chances. And this is truly Russian roulette right now, because when you start sending a defenseman in against a team like this, you can see it coming back in the other direction in a real hurry. And we're going to see an example of that right now. A pass comes ahead to Savitsky. He's got a man on the other wing. The drive up high. A great save by Clifford. And Clifford will play it ahead now here with 1:42 remaining. Great opportunity there, Mike.
Well, a fantastic opportunity. Nice save by Chris Clifford to get that glove hand up. That one was labeled for the top corner.
Zinoviev starts it ahead now to Sиньков. It's broken up at the blue line. Lumberjacks trying to get something going. Gancher lost it. Now Gruel back there loses the puck to Sинькov. Back to pick it up is Paul Stanton for the Lumberjacks. He loses it at the blue line, and back to cover up is Capuano, who has to play it all the way back to the blue line to Mike Mersch. 1 minute, 8 seconds remaining in the contest. 6-4 our score. Sokol Kiev on top of the Muskegon Lumberjacks here at the LC Walker Arena. Hockey coming your way tonight on TV 13. Back to cover up now is Zinoviev, the defenseman, plays it across to his partner, who sends it back up. That is Ovchinnikov. Malkov chasing after the puck. We're down inside. 50 seconds remaining. Stanton lets go from center ice. Shundrov made a save on that one and then covers up as he saw Perry Gancher cruising in on his doorstep. Gancher talking down there, having words with Ovchinnikov, and I can't imagine that either of those guys had a clue in the world as to what the other were saying, but there is a universal sports language that accompanies an exchange like that, and I'm sure both guys got the message. 2-goal lead for Sokol Kiev here with 42 seconds remaining. Some of the fans starting to file out now here at the LC Walker Arena. But even though their team is going down to defeat here tonight, they have seen quite a show and quite an exhibition of European and Soviet-style hockey, a team that has really applied a lot of pressure here the last 30 minutes. They've had quite a clear territorial advantage, Mike.
Well, they definitely have, and we alluded to earlier that there'll be a few of these young players possibly in the National Hockey League. Over the past 5 weeks, the Winnipeg Jets assistant general manager has spent that 5 weeks with them and was scouting players for possibly draft picks in the future. So we may see quite a few of these guys in the National Hockey League in the next several years.
Well, we'll give you a couple of names. In the past, it has been basically older players who have gotten away from the Soviet system, but what we're seeing now is that the Soviet Federation is selling the rights to some of these younger guys for a lot of money, thereby subsidizing really the Soviet program in that nation. They're letting some of these guys go for $500,000, $1 million just in rights fees, and then a good portion of the player salaries, Mike, are going back to the Federation as well. So it's a win-win situation for the Soviet Union. A couple of the younger players who we may see eventually in the National Hockey League. A couple of defensemen. Žitnik, who's played quite a bit tonight, is only 17. Vyacheslav Timchenko is 18. Kuzminski is 17, also number 15. And Valentin Oletsky is an 18-year-old. So remember those names. You might see them in your favorite NHL arena before too much longer. Now the Lumberjacks have pulled their goaltender, adding a sixth attacker. They'll try to draw it back here to the point to Goertz. And Gruel got it in front. They score! Oh, my! 38 seconds remaining. And Mihайлюк sent it across that time. And the Lumberjacks get the goal. Actually, it was not Mihайлюк. It was Gruel across to Mihайлюk. And there you see Dave Mihайлюk, whose nickname is Boris, getting a goal here tonight against Sokol Kiev. So it's not over yet. They still have an opportunity, the Lumberjacks, to maybe tie this one.
Well, that one's right out of the playbook. You get the forward, you get the center iceman to take it forward to the right winger, who tries to slip it across to the left winger going to the net. It was Capuano over to Scott Gruel to Dave Mihайлюk, and the Lumberjacks with 38 seconds to go here have an opportunity to tie this hockey game.
Now they bring the goaltender back on. Clifford is going to go back into the net, but as soon as he sees the puck go back toward the Sokol Kiev end, he will head for the bench. He's actually about halfway out to the blue line right now. And it's very important to control this draw. It's Capuano out there, but the Soviets get the draw, and a quick shot on goal, actually just off goal, by Ботвинко. 32 seconds remaining. The Soviet team with the puck. They'll try to rag it. This is Malkov, the veteran, who throws it in. He goes down heavily after shooting it. Gancher lost his stick. Here's a chance now for the Lumberjacks. Merch starting his team out. Capuano lost it. And the Lumberjacks have to send it back out. The goaltender has headed for the bench. This is Žitnik, who's taken in heavily by Gruel. And the puck comes back out to the blue line. Not out. One last chance. A drive goes wide. And that will just about do it. 2 seconds, 1 second. Malkov rags the puck at center ice. And Sokol Kiev hangs on for an exciting, hard-fought victory. 6-5 the final here tonight.